Sir, you're charged with especially aggravated kidnapping. You're also charged with aggravated assault. And you're charged with theft of a firearm worth less than $2,500.
You're talking about stuff that is not relevant.
Hello and welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict, and boy do I have a case for you today.
Why is the dog chewing on this guy?
I think they have got the wrong guy there.
Got the wrong guy, and the dog was biting him.
He roughing him up quite a bit. There's a lawsuit.
As the agent for Peyton, Ansley, John Milton, you are indicating to me that you're quite familiar with Peyton, Ansley, John Milton, and that's basically you. Is that correct?
I am the agent authorized to represent Peyton, Ansley, John Milton, as written in all capital letters.
All right, and you understand from my purposes, though that language doesn't make any sense. So
No, I do not.
I understand? Okay, well, I'm telling you that. And so I am, until you disabuse me of the motion, or the notion, I am inclined to believe that you are both the agent and the person, so. And it's
I'm not a person, I am one of the people, thank you.
I'm not a person, okay. I'm one of the people. I am the Recovery Addict. Welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. We're going to wrap up. I guess day one, day two. We're going to finish. We're going to finish this pro se defendant. We have the little sob set intro there, but little pro se defendants action. I apologize for being late. This morning. There were lots of things going on. It was last night. First of all, I was up. Rob kept me up way too late. And I'm going to blame him entirely for this. I went out to a basketball game with my kids, okay, and the game, it was an ECU basketball game. I forget who we played, the Owls, whoever the Owls are. We played the Owls, so it was Pirates versus Owls. And if you just have a matchup between mascots, are we going to address subject matter jurisdiction? Thank you, Mr. Brooks. If you just have a matchup between mascots, the Pirates are going to win against an owl any day, right? But apparently the teams had to play each other, not just the mascots, and so it went pretty good. I think we scored the first point, and then they pulled ahead. And there was one point where we were like we had 18 points, and they had let's see, what's double 18, like 36. And at that point, some people got up and they went to the concession stand, and they just didn't come back. I guess there was a big line, but it was looking bad. It was looking really bad. And then we slowly whittled it down and made a game out of it. And there we were with, like 15 seconds left, dribbling down towards our basket. We're down by 2. We get fouled. I say we like I was on the team, We get fouled, and our guy sinks both buckets and ties it up with 12 and a half seconds left. They have the ball. So 12 and a half seconds left. They go down. Sure enough, they sink it for 2.
Don't miss the forest
nothing
for the trees.
But net. Sink it for 2. And we now have 3.5 seconds left. They inbound the ball, pass it to a dude who dribbles twice, and from 3-quarter shot, like 3/4 of the way down the court, throws up a prayer, and it sails across the court. The light turns on around the backboard about the midway of the arch. It comes down and nothing but net. Swish for 3 points. We win it by 1 at a buzzer beater. And it was unbelievable. And then they all conglomerated right below us on the sand. So we saw the whole thing, and I filmed some of that and everything.
I was just taking it easy.
But anyway, it was an incredible game. And then I walk out, and as I'm walking out to the car, I quickly pull up YouTube, and Rob is just gone live. It's just gone live, and he's got his Nick Whitney interview. So it was like from one high, amazing experience to another. It was absolutely amazing. Rob did an incredible job with Nick Whitney's interview last night. If you did not get to see that, do go back and watch it. It was really, really good. Also, let's see, first in chat. That's not it. Hang on 1 second. I have to do this. Sample user. Oh, welcome. Oh, man. No, I messed it up. Hold tight.
I'm not a camel.
I fat fingered it. There we go. We'll run down here. Welcome, sample user, first in chat. No, just kidding. It was Kim R. Kim R today was first in chat. Kim, congratulations. You were first in chat. First, second, third, and fourth, I believe. So, Kim, as you know, you've done this before. You have the internet in your capable hands. Go ahead and add this to your lengthy rap sheet of first offenses, being first in chat. offense, that is. Congratulations, Kim. You're going to do great today. It's going to be a little bit of a shorter day, but it's a very important day as well because it's the day before Thanksgiving, and it is also...
Mike. What day is it, Mike? Guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Hump day! Welcome to Wednesday. That was... I saved my voice. I did not cheer the entire basketball game long, so I could do the hump day cheer today. So... welcome, and there it's gone. Now it's gone. So, let's see. It's a fantastic day. Happy Thanksgiving Eve for all you who are celebrating Thanksgiving here in America tomorrow. By America, I mean United States of America, not North America, because Canadians actually celebrated it earlier. They're well ahead of us on the celebration side. I believe in celebrating it both times. Anyway, it is, I'm sorry, Krista, your cat jumped. Almost back to normal. So close. There's just a tiny bit of just, I don't quite have my full range back. Which is weird because my regular speaking voice is a little lower than normal, but the bottom end of the range is also gone. So it sounds a little lower, but I can't go quite as far down. Let's see what else we have this morning. Is there a podcast this week? Unfortunately, no. We're going to give Thomas the day off because that's Thanksgiving. Bad Juju has a birthday today. We can celebrate the birthday, and then we're going to kick off the updates for Mr. Farog. We're going to get him in just a minute. Let's see. Anybody else who has a birthday today other than Bad Juju? Going once. Going twice.
I'm not a camel.
Everyone, let's sing to Bad Juju and anyone else who has a birthday today. Oh, and Tina P. Bad Juju and Tina P. Here we go. Everybody. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Bad Juju and Tina P. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to everyone who has a birthday today. What a wonderful time to have a birthday. I mean, you get a birthday cake today and turkey tomorrow. It's just a win-win all around. Libby says, I'm in the office singing in my head. No. That's not how it works, Libby. Even if it's just a little hum to yourself, we're going to need your coworkers to hear you. So, to everyone who's celebrating a happy birthday, thank you very much. I realize there are many places you could be to celebrate, to be recognized on your special occasion. And the fact that you're here with us today is our privilege and pleasure. Thank you very much. Cumulus Cloud. It's my birthday too. Cumulus Cloud, happy birthday as well. Wonderful having you here. Thank you very much. I hope you have a wonderful birthday. OG Sean White, belated birthday for you as well. Happy birthdays all around. Oh, all right. Let's tune this down just a little bit. Let's dial back the birthday celebration so you guys can continue eating cake as you were. That's all right. And keep passing the gifts around. You're doing great. Speaking of gifts, Cashette just gifted 5 Recovery Addict memberships. Thank you very much, Cashette. Those went to Lynn in South Carolina. TLC is me, JP Shakonas, and Susie Hat 44. I think I got that name wrong. Thank you very much. And blank was gifted a membership. Somebody without a name was gifted a membership, which is just incredible because it's basically like a gift without a tag, but we still got it to the right person, which is neat. Thank you very much, Cashette. Your generosity is amazing. One of our amazing mods and helps on the back end with the channel, with me, with all the things I don't know about YouTube that she does. So wonderful there. Let's see. We have Gillipud was gifted. Gillipud. Okay, wonderful. All right, if you guys missed yesterday, I don't do this often, but if you guys missed yesterday, you're going to have to pause the live stream today and catch up later because you need to see what happened before now. We were up in court in Washington, and we jumped into court in a very short jury trial. This is a trial with the defendant, Mr. Farog. I think it's Farog, Farag or something like that. We were up in court with him. He is a pro se defendant, meaning he is defending himself. He's representing himself. He does not have a lawyer. It's your right in the U.S. to do this, and he's been fully informed about the disadvantages of representing himself in court and not having a lawyer. And he made the choice anyway. He wanted to do this in spite of the courts trying to help him, in spite of the offer to have legal assistance, no cost to him, available to him. All these things. Thurston County, Washington. Thank you, Barb, for that. I was forgetting the county. He went into this fully knowing the disadvantage, fully knowing that he would be hamstrung, basically. He'd be one hand behind the back, and just... it's a difficult situation to represent yourself. It's a difficult situation to represent somebody else for a lawyer. That they have their hands full, and they also don't have to worry about being their defendant. But here he was. He wanted to do it. He did an okay-ish job, meaning he used some of the right words, probably inappropriately in almost every situation. But basically, he has a list of grievances about a mile long. And enough he could probably secede from the country and form his own country. He has a full list of wrongs that have occurred to him, including getting pulled over for things that are illegal, that he thinks should not be illegal or should not be pulled over for because it's sort of nitpicky. He's got some trespassing charges. He's got a bunch of other things. They all seem to wrap into one big problem, which is he has to go to court. And he's managed to delay this court for a traffic ticket, a traffic ticket where he was pulled over. He was driving on the freeway, on I-5. He's driving on the freeway. He gets to an on-ramp. Okay, so when the freeway is going along straight and the on-ramp comes to join, you've got this little merge point, this little point in the middle right here. That's called the gore point. He gets to that point, but he's driving on this side, right? And there's a truck, like two trucks in the lane that they're slow. So he gets there and he cuts across the gore point to use the on-ramp.
Are we going to address subject matter
trucks.
jurisdiction?
Well, what's happening? But right here, way back in this little blind corner, there's a cop sitting there, right? Cop sees the whole thing, sees it go down, lights him up, woo, pulls him over, and gives him a ticket. He's writing him a ticket for, crossing over the gore point. Well, in the process of him, processing Mr.
There's a
Farog,
lawsuit.
he runs his license. He runs it on this computer, and he calls it in on the radio as well. And on both the computer and over the radio,
I'm
it comes
not a
back
camel.
that this gentleman has a suspended license. So the ticket, instead of going for crossing the gore point, he just writes it for driving with a suspended license. And because he had pulled him over and it was off the road, he let him leave his car there. I think he probably booked him or something. I don't know. He might have booked and let out on bond or something.
Scratch all that. Oh, that was terrible. I apologize.
That ticket has now stretched on for like 2.5 years. And he's finally going to court as he's required. He's demanded a jury trial, which would be six jurors, plus one with an alternate. And he's just stretched this process out through motions and everything else, even getting judges kicked off the trial, everything you can think of. He stretched it out to this point, and then yesterday it all came to a head where the judge says, "We're moving forward with this ticket."
How does he do that?
It moves forward, and every time Mr. Farog gets to a point where he is supposed to do something lawyerish, right?
Are we going to address subject matter jurisdiction?
Supposed to do something like a lawyer would.
There's a lawsuit.
Procedurally in court. Instead, he turns it into what can only be described as a closing statement. And I say closing statement because closing statements can have just about anything in them. It's an argument that it's not evidence, and it's not to be considered as evidence, but it just goes all over the place. And he just list of grievances, complaint.
You're talking about stuff that is not relevant.
Mostly not relevant stuff, even though it's sort of related. And so every time he gets a turn in court, this is what he does. So he gets up there to, oops, the buffer's going crazy. Let's see what's happening here. Buffer. Sound effect volume is very high. It's loud in my ears as well, Keshet. I'm going to turn it down. Let me pin this one. Thank you, Samantha. Replace pin message. Kim, we know you got the internet. We're going to cover up your thing with this right here. So he gets, Mr. Nabil Farog, he gets to the jury selection portion. And instead of asking questions of the jury, he gets up and just complains about things. And he ends up asking a couple questions, but nothing insightful enough to really get an idea of who would be a good juror for him or who he should probably exclude. And mind you, he has the assistance of standby counsel, which is a fully qualified legal lawyer. It's like having a lawyer without, that stands mute. He's like, I can't help you unless you ask for it. Okay, but I'm going to stand here. I've got my laptop. I have all my knowledge. Anything you want, I can help you and help you guide you through these motions you want to make, decisions as you're thinking things over. But the dude's just sitting there, and Mr. Farog has nothing to do with him the entire time. Just won't talk to him. Completely blows the whole process of jury selection. He messes the whole thing up. He thought he was going to have a lot of time, didn't get enough time. Now he's like, well, now I don't know who I should go with and who I shouldn't. They end up seating jury with a couple people were struck from. He didn't even use all his preemptives, his strikes. He didn't even understand that process very well until it was all over. But anyway, he goes through court, and the state, or I think it's the state. The guy who's prosecuting him, it's his second time. It's his second time in court. Okay, so it's a brand new guy, brand new prosecutor. They have two witnesses. They have two pieces of evidence, and that's it. And they present them on cross-examination. The first one is a police officer, Mr. Farog. Screws that up so badly the judge cuts him off and says, you can't question the police officer anymore. He's dismissed. The second person was a person from the licensing division, like a custodian of records. And he goes and asks her all the stuff that he should have asked the police officer. And so, of course, she doesn't know anything about it, and he ends up insulting her, insulting the judge, saying you should have sent somebody who's more knowledgeable about these things and everything, and everything's objected to and sustained. Anyway, it gets to the point where the state rests.
Is that correct?
And they take a break. They take a break because it's now time for Mr. Farog to take over and present his case. Well, how many witnesses has he called? 0. It's been 2.5 years. He hasn't figured out how to work a subpoena, right? So he has subpoenaed no one. He's mad that the people aren't there. He wants people there that can answer these questions he has, but he has subpoenaed nobody in 2.5 years, probably because, A, he doesn't have a lawyer and he doesn't know how to do it. It's possible, as a pro se defendant, you can subpoena people. It's possible, but you need you need to know how that process works, and you'll need the assistance of probably some legal counsel, or sometimes even the prosecution helps, believe it or not, to issue the subpoenas. So this is where we are. We're picking up right there. So if you have not seen all that, let me just tell you, it is unbelievable. If anything you could possibly expect from a pro se defendant, including playing racism card, which the judge shut down really fast. Did I say shut? I meant to say shut if I didn't. He shut it down really fast. And it was really, really good. It's crazy. It just got better and better. And every single moment was just a reaffirmation that you need a lawyer, right? You need a lawyer. Okay. D Novo says, this dude has a mile-long list of legal actions against the state of Washington going back years and years and years. He's a nuisance. Yes, they are well aware of him. Kelly, by the way, best 3 months. Thank you very much for your support. Good to have that courthouse by your name turn green. That is wonderful. Welcome. So that, let's see. I got props on my breakdown. Who was that? Who liked the breakdown? Well, it's gone now. Whoever did, thank you very much. I scrolled and it was gone. Anyway, so that's brings us up to date. But I'm telling you, if you didn't watch it, you want to go back and watch it. It is so good. Now, where we are right now is we're trying to.
Oh, that was terrible. I apologize.
We have 3 more videos to play. That's this many, and they're fairly short. But we're going to complete the process of watching this. Let me see if I can get this pulled up here. Let's go here.
Bring the jury.
Turn that on. Cut. Okay. We're waiting for audio here. Please tell me the audio is working.
Not joined us. Present court deputy.
Wait. This is important. We're going to go back and watch the beginning again. This is how I start recording it. I recorded everything.
You're talking about stuff that.
All right, we're back on the record with State versus Farog. It's now 1:53.
We're supposed to start at 1:30.
Still not joined us. Present court, Deputy Prosecutors Thompson and Robbins, and standby counsel for Mr. Farog. All right, as far as how we're going to proceed from here, The state has requested that the trial continue on in Mr. Farog's absence. In my estimation, that is an appropriate thing to do if it's proper to find that Mr. Farog has voluntarily absented himself from court after the trial's commenced under Rule 3.4D, and cases decided under that, including State versus Crafton. Mr. Farog has been advised on multiple occasions that his presence is required. He's been advised of the time that he's expected to be here and ready to proceed with the trial. And he has now, for the third time in a row, failed to be here on the time appointed, and it's now 25 minutes past the time appointed. He also indicated earlier today on the record on multiple occasions that if he was unhappy with the court's rulings or with the trajectory of the proceedings, he would just leave. He was advised that if he were to do that, that the trial would proceed in his absence. I think from that, it's reasonable to conclude that he has voluntarily chosen not to be here today, not to be here for the remaining portion of his trial. Before we proceed any further on that, Mr. Thompson?
Yes, Your Honor. And we do have a weird bit of circumstances in the fact that he is a pro se defendant.
Right.
And so, yes, the state's request is to proceed absentia. I think the court had briefly discussed one of the cases, which was State v. Crofton, regarding when trial commences. I think the also pointing out State v. Hammond, which indicates trial absentia is permissible only when the defendant becomes absent after trial begins, which then led us to Crafton. Further, I would cite State v. DeWeese, or DEWEESE, 117 Win 2D 369, which, and I won't belabor the point too many, or too much, but essentially talks about the court's authority to maintain order in the courtroom and about a defendant being removed, and then further goes into when a pro se defendant does not have standby counsel and voluntarily refuses to participate in the trial, courts have found a waiver of the right to counsel. I point that out because in this case, he does have standby counsel. And so while it may not be an express waiver of his right to counsel, I do want to point out that the courts have felt that they can proceed on a pro se defendant who fails to appear in absentia. And so that is what, at least in part, why the state is still asking and recognizing that we don't have an attorney here to proceed for him.
Just to add to that, Mr. Farog had also indicated earlier today when I'd asked him to consult with Mr. Pazderka that he was declining to do that. He emphatically stated that Mr. Pazderka is not his attorney. So I don't think he believes subjectively that he is represented in any capacity. Before I make any decision on continuing, though, Mr. Pazderka, if you think it's appropriate, only if you do think it's appropriate, I'll hear from you on the issue.
Your Honor, I have nothing to add or and have no objections to any thing that has been presented.
All right. So Mr. Farog has quite obviously waived his right to be present with full advisement of the consequences of what would happen if he were to do that. So I'm finding that he has voluntarily absented himself. The trial clearly has already commenced and we're in the second day of trial. In fact, the only part of the trial left to present would be, now that Mr. Farog's not here to present his own case, would be instructions and closing.
Thank you, Your Honor. And with that in mind, at this time, the state would request the court to note the FTA of the defendant, order a bench warrant, but reserve issuing that bench warrant until after a verdict's returned, or when we recess for the day, whichever happens first. That way, if for some reason the jury returns a not guilty verdict, obviously no warrant would be appropriate. But if they return a guilty verdict, we'd ask that the warrant already be ordered. And just
I think that's a wise course of action, and I'll make that finding that he has failed to hear A warrant is authorized, but it will not be issued pending verdict of the jury. All right, then I intend to just number the instructions here. We'll have them copied for the jury.
Your Honor, if I may ask, just for clarification for my purposes, and maybe clarity on for the record, that the court is accepting that Mr. Farog is did waive his right to counsel, and that the court is not asking standby counsel to step in.
He did.
Do I
he
have to
waived
be
his
here?
right to counsel previously. He was
Can I go home, Judge?
given the pro se advisements about the dangers and disadvantages of proceeding. He made it clear that he wanted to proceed pro se. He's acted consistently with that entirely throughout the course of these proceedings. And really, Mr. Pezdirk, I think it'd be fair to say that he's repudiated you as standby counsel even. So he has very, very clearly indicated that he intends to represent himself, and he's made his own choices in that regard.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, these instructions as proposed by the state are numbered. I think that they are appropriate in their pattern instructions. I included the instruction in here regarding no prejudice from the defendant not testifying. So let's make copies for everybody.
We're going to make copies for everybody here.
Ask him for, you can put it up there. Remember, remind them, tell them. This exhibit will go back to the jury. CC, will go back to the jury.
The voices you're hearing from the prosecution's table. Remember that the prosecutor has only tried one case before this one. This is his second time. And he got it pro se. Okay, so that was the first video. Let's go to the next one here. Man, I tweaked my back, and it's killing me. I can barely turn to the right. Next video, we're going to start right here. Go full screen as well. So this was just a few minutes later. The judge is preparing. They've made copies of all the jury instructions. And here I think we're getting set for the judge to read the jury instructions, which happens next. And then we have a closing argument, which, I mean, really, you don't have to say anything, but he's going to say just a little bit. It'll be short, and then the jury's going to start deliberating, and we're going to get hopefully a verdict. And all at this time, I keep wondering if Mr. Farog is just going to wander in. I have not listened to all this. I recorded it, but I did not hear it, what was happening. So we'll see what happens here. So it's going to take just a minute here as it gets started. So just as a refresher, the gentleman who appears on the left, I forget the guy's name. It's a tough one to pronounce for me. But he is standby counsel. The court ordered him to be there. It's like having an attorney, but he's not representing you. He's just there to help in case you need it. Mr. Farog wanted none of that. Oh, here comes the judge. He's ready to. Looks like the jury's there. He's ready to read the jury instructions.
When you came into the courtroom, you should have found on your seat a package entitled Court's Instructions to the Jury. You've now heard the entire evidence portion of this case. The defendant, Mr. Farog, has declined to present evidence and is declining to attend the remainder of the trial. These will be the court's instructions to the jury. Please feel free to follow along. It is your duty to decide the facts in this case based upon the evidence presented to you during the trial. It's also your duty to accept the law from my instructions, regardless of what you personally believe the law is or what you personally think it should be. You must apply the law from my instructions to the facts that you decide have been proved and in this way decide the case. Keep in mind that a charge is only an accusation. The filing of a charge is not evidence that the charge is true. Your decisions as jurors must be based solely upon the evidence presented during these proceedings. The evidence that you are to consider during your deliberations consists of testimony that you have heard from witnesses, stipulations, and the exhibits that I've admitted during the trial. If evidence was not admitted or was stricken from the record, then you are not to consider it in the verdict. Exhibits may have been marked by the clerk and given a number, but they do not go with you to the jury room during your deliberations unless they've been admitted into evidence. The exhibits that have been admitted will be available to you, the jury. One of my duties has been to rule on the admissibility of evidence. Do not concern yourselves during deliberations about the reasons for my rulings on the evidence. If I have ruled that any evidence is inadmissible, or if I've asked you to disregard any evidence, then you must not discuss that evidence during your deliberations or consider it in reaching your verdict. Do not speculate whether the evidence would have favored one party or the other. In order to decide whether any proposition has been proved, you must consider all the evidence that I've admitted that relates to the proposition. Each party is entitled to the benefit of all of the evidence, whether or not that party introduced. You are the sole judges of the credibility of
the
each
audio is a
witness.
little poor.
You are
I'm going to
also
turn the
sole
speed up
judges
a
of
little
the
bit if I
value
can.
or weight to be given to the testimony of each witness. In assessing credibility, you must avoid bias, conscious or unconscious, including bias based on religion, ethnicity, race, sexual orientation, gender, or disability. In considering a witness's testimony, you may consider these things: the opportunity of the witness to observe or know the things he or she testifies about.
Sorry, we got an actual
The
speed.
ability of the witness to observe accurately, the quality of a witness's memory while testifying, the manner of the witness while testifying, any personal interest that the witness might have in the outcome or the issues, any bias or prejudice that the witness may have shown, the reasonableness of the witness's statements in the context of all of the other evidence, and any other factors that affect your evaluation or belief of a witness or your evaluation of his or her testimony. The lawyer's remarks, statements, and arguments are intended to help you understand the evidence and apply the law. It is important, however, for you to remember that the lawyer's statements are not evidence. The evidence is the testimony and the exhibits. The law is contained in my instructions to you. You must disregard any remark, statement, or argument that is not supported by the evidence or the law in my instructions. You may have heard objections made by the lawyers during trial. Each party has the right to object to questions asked by another party and may have a duty to do so. These objections should not influence you. Do not make any assumptions or draw any conclusions based on objections. Our state constitution prohibits the trial judge from making a comment on the evidence. It would be inappropriate or improper for me to express by words or conduct my personal opinion about the value of testimony or other evidence. I've not intentionally done this. If it appeared to you that I've indicated my personal opinion in any way, either during trial or in giving these instructions, you must disregard this entirely. You have nothing whatever to do with punishment that may be imposed in case of a violation of the law. You may not consider the fact that punishment may follow conviction except insofar as it may tend to make you careful. The order of these instructions has no significance as to their relative importance. They are all important. In closing arguments, the lawyers may properly discuss specific instructions during your deliberations, thus consider instructions as a whole. As jurors, you are officers of this court. You must not let your emotions overcome your rational thought process. You must reach your decisions based upon facts proved to you and the law given to you, not in sympathy, prejudice, or personal preference. To assure that all parties receive fair trial, you must act impartially with an earnest desire to reach a proper verdict. Instruction number 2. As jurors, you have a duty to discuss the case with one another and to deliberate in an effort to reach a unanimous verdict. Each of you must decide the case for yourself, but only after you consider the evidence impartially with fellow jurors. During your deliberations, you should not hesitate to re-examine your own views and to change your opinion based upon further review of the evidence of the instructions. You should not, however, surrender your honest belief about the value or significance of evidence solely because of the opinions of your fellow jurors. Nor should you change your mind just for the purpose of reaching a verdict. Instruction number 3. The defendant has entered a plea of not guilty. This plea puts an issue in every element of the crime charged. It states the plaintiff and has the burden of proving each element of the crime charged beyond a reasonable doubt. The defendant has no burden of proving that a reasonable doubt exists as to these elements.
This is the judge standing at the podium.
Is presumed innocent. This presumption continues throughout the entire trial unless during your deliberations you find it has been overcome by the evidence beyond a reasonable doubt. A reasonable doubt is one for which a reason exists and may arise from the evidence or lack of evidence. It is such a doubt as would exist in the mind of a reasonable person after fully fairly and carefully considering all of the evidence or lack of evidence. If, from such consideration, you have an abiding belief in the truth of the charge, then you're satisfied beyond a reasonable doubt. Instruction number 4. The defendant is not required to testify. You may not use the fact that the defendant has not testified to infer guilt.
He chose not to show up for his portion of the trial.
5. The evidence that has been presented to you may be either direct or circumstantial. The term direct evidence refers to evidence that is given by a witness who directly perceives something that is at issue in this case. The term circumstantial evidence refers to evidence from which, based on your common sense and experience, you may reasonably infer something that is at issue in this case. The law does not distinguish between direct and circumstantial evidence in terms of their weight or value in finding the facts in this case. One is not necessarily more or less valuable than the other. Instruction number 6. A witness who has special training, education, or experience may be allowed to express an opinion in addition to giving testimony as to facts. You are not, however, required to accept his or her opinion. To determine the credibility and weight to be given to this type of evidence, you may consider, among other things, the education, training, experience, knowledge, and ability of the witness. You may also consider the reasons given, the sources of his or her information, as well as considering the factors already given to you for evaluating the testimony of any other witness. Instruction number 7. The person commits the crime of driving while license suspended or revoked in the 3rd degree. He or she drives a motor vehicle while his or her driver's license or driving privilege is suspended or revoked because the person failed to respond to a notice of traffic infraction, failed to appear at a requested hearing, violated a written promise to appear in court, or failed to comply with the terms of a notice of traffic infraction or citation as provided in 26.20.
We're almost done.
Instruction number 8. The convicted defendant of the crime of driving while license suspended or revoked in the 3rd degree, each of the following 3 elements of the crime must be proved beyond a reasonable doubt. 1, that on or about July 16, 2021, the defendant drove a motor vehicle. And 2, that at the time of driving, the defendant's driver's license or driving privilege was suspended or revoked because A, the defendant failed to respond to a notice of traffic infraction, failed to appear at a requested hearing, violated a written promise to appear in court, or failed to comply with the terms of the notice of traffic infraction or citation as provided in RCW 46.20. And that the driving occurred in the state of Washington. Thurston. If you find from the evidence that elements 1, 2, and 3 have been proved beyond a reasonable doubt, that it will be your duty to return a verdict of guilty. On the other hand, if after weighing all the evidence, you have a reasonable doubt as to any one of elements 1, 2,
We're in Thurston County,
then it
Washington.
will be your duty to return a verdict of not guilty. Instruction number 9. When you begin deliberating, you should first select a presiding juror. The presiding juror's duty is to see that you discuss the issues in the case in an orderly and reasonable manner, that you discuss each issue submitted for your decision fully and fairly, and that each of you has a chance to be heard on every question before you. Deliberations are to occur only in the jury room when all 6 jurors are present. You are all officers of the court and must evaluate the evidence with an open mind, free of bias or prejudice. If during your deliberations you become concerned that discussions are being influenced by preconceived bias or prejudice, you must bring this to the attention of the other jurors so that the issue be fully discussed among all members of the jury. During your deliberations, you may discuss any notes you've taken if you wish. You've been allowed to take notes to assist you in remembering clearly, not to substitute for the memory, not to substitute for your memory or the memories or notes of other jurors. Do not assume, however, that your notes are more or less accurate. You will need to rely on your notes and memories to the testimony presented in this case. Testimony will rarely, if ever, be repeated for you during your deliberations. If after carefully considering the evidence and instructions, you feel the need to ask the court a legal or procedural question that you've been unable to answer, write the question out simply and clearly. For this purpose, use the form provided in the jury room. In your question, do not state how the jury has voted. The presiding juror should sign and date the question you give the clerk. I'll confer with the lawyers to determine what response to give.
You'll be given the exhibits submitted into evidence, these instructions, and verdict form for recording the verdict. Some evidence and visual aids may be used in court, but will not go to the jury. The exhibits that have been admitted into evidence will be available to the jury. You must fill in the blank in the verdict form, the words not guilty or the word guilty, according to the decision to reach. Because this is a criminal case, each of you must agree to return a verdict. When all of you have so agreed, please fill in the verdict form to express your decision. The presiding juror must sign the verdict form and notify the clerk, who will bring you into court to declare the verdict. We'll hear closing arguments, counsel for the state. So give your attention to Mr. Rob.
Okay, so now we get closing statements closing arguments from the prosecution only, because that's the only people who are here.
Good amount of information in this file, and I would like to just narrow it down and briefly focus on one important jury instruction, which is jury instruction number 8.
This guy gives it his all.
It says that if you find that elements 1, 2, and 3 have been proven beyond a reasonable doubt, then it is your duty to return a verdict of guilty. Let's just go through them briefly. Element 1, that on or about July 16th, 2021, the defendant, being Mr. Nabil Farog, drove a motor vehicle. How do we know he did that? Trooper Jackson testified as to seeing Mr. Farog drive the vehicle, pulling him over, and identifying him by his Washington State driver's license. Next, that at the time of driving, the defendant's driver's license or driving privilege was suspended or revoked. When you go back to the room, you will take with you State's Exhibit 2 and 3. 3 is the defendant's driving record. I encourage you to go to the second to last page, also labeled page 89, which says at the bottom, action taken, suspension. Start date.
I'm sorry, he's got a 9-page driving record.
June 12, 2021. End date, January 13, 2022. The date, July 16, 2021, exists between these two dates. Next, 2A, the defendant failed to respond to a notice of traffic infraction, failed to appear at a requested hearing, violated a written promise to appear in court, or failed to comply with the terms of a notice of traffic infraction or citation as provided by RCW 46-2289. I encourage you to return to State's Exhibit 2, which is a notice of suspension. At the top, it will say that it was sent to Mr. Nabil Farog, and just under that, it will say that we will suspend your driving privilege until you comply because you failed to respond, appear, pay, or comply with the terms of a citation under the authority of 46-2289. And about 2/3 of the way down this notice of suspension, you will find the violation number. I urge you to look back at that second to last page of State's Exhibit 3 and match that violation number with the reason for suspension. Lastly, that the driving occurred in the state of Washington, county of Thurston. How do we know that happened? Trooper Cole Jackson said, I pulled him over where? Saw him on milepost 108, exit 108, and pulled him over in Thurston County. I encourage you to return a verdict of guilt. Thank you.
Great job. Great job. This was his second trial.
Members of the jury, at this time, you can go with the clerk to the jury deliberation room, select a presiding juror, and deliberate on your verdict.
Now, I think we've got a little bit more here, even though the jury's out deliberating. Give us just a minute. Let me see if there's more. Dude's like patting himself on the back. He's like, I just nailed that closing. I just nailed it. Okay. And at the same time, he's like, how did I do? All right. Start the deliberation clock. I don't have the time. Well, I guess I could figure it out. It's gonna seem like moments, just mere moments for you guys for deliberation.
Ask if my presence is needed going forward for the verdict, or if I may be excused.
Standby counsel's like, can I please go home now?
Thank you, Your Honor.
I'm just going to put away my laptop and pretend today did not happen.
We're
never mind.
Discuss with the judges.
Okay, so this happens there. That completes the second video. Now we're going to go to the third and final, and this is the verdict. So verdict is in, guys. Verdict is in. We need to play some music. Where's our music? Hang on. Wait for it. You guys, we have a verdict. We've been waiting for this moment. The jury has been deliberating for entire minutes, but now they've come together. All 6 of them have unanimously reached a verdict according to what we hear. So in just moments, they're going to be returning to the courthouse. The judge is going to be handed that verdict slip and going to announce the outcome for what is happening. The anticipation has just been through the roof on this one. It's been a coin toss. We don't know where they're going to decide. Washington jury, anything could happen. Anything can happen, and it probably will. All right. Just wanted to hype you up just a little bit for the verdict. All right, here we go.
For a bunch of them.
All right, here we go. So that was our verdict type. I forgot. I left it paused for like a minute. So like nothing's happening right here. Why is it not right there? Okay. This is where it starts. Okay.
They are super nice, except for the whoopee cushion with the up and down.
Who had whoopee cushion on their bingo card?
Or every time you shift your butt in the middle of trial, and it sounds like you're passing gas yet again.
Yet again. It could be meaning it happened previously.
And of course, it's like the one thing that varies properly in here.
Oh, here comes the judge. Stop talking about whoopee cushions and farting in court.
Presiding. Be seated, please.
The court clerk's still giggling.
Did you already take this from him? Okay. All right. Let's bring the jury in.
And Your Honor.
Okay. Question?
Yes, Your Honor, if you could, the state request, if you could tell the jury that this is my second trial and ask if any of them would be willing to stay behind.
After the verdict.
After the verdict.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Because I'd like to know how I did.
I will do that.
On this of all trials, I'd really like to see just if I nailed it. If I really. What did I say that was so compelling that you decided to side with me in my argument? In this of all cases, where really it could have gone either way. Yeah, so he's going to get a little constructive criticism from the jurors.
Be seated, please. All right, and can the presiding juror please identify yourself? Has the jury reached a verdict?
Yeah, Your Honor.
All right. And did you deliver this verdict form to the clerk?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Verdict. This is State of Washington versus Nabil Farog, 1A505393. We, the jury, find the defendant, Nabil Wagdi Farog, guilty of the crime of driving while license suspended or revoked in the 3rd degree as charged in count 1, dated today and signed by the presiding juror. All right. The court will receive the verdict and enter judgment on it. And members of the jury, at this point, I'm thanking you for your service and discharging you. Completed your task as jurors. We appreciate it. Before you go, I did want to tell you that Mr. Robbins, the deputy prosecutor who tried this case, this is his second trial. He's newly graduated from law school. So he would appreciate it if you were willing to stay behind and talk to him about the trial and give him any feedback you might have. That can really help new attorneys in their progress. That's not required, but I'm just putting it out there if you're willing to do it. So once again, thank you for your service, and you're released from all my prior restrictions, and you're discharged.
So yeah, I was blown away by this one. Did not see it coming at all. Really, when you weigh the evidence, how they were able to come to that conclusion. I mean, they must have seen something.
We'll talk in there. Yeah. Thank you.
We've got just the final matter is the warrant that I authorized earlier. Issue a no bail warrant for Mr. Farog.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And then there's that bench warrant, and that's it. That takes us all the way back to right here. So we've now completed the saga, the full series. of Mr. Farog and his suspended license in the third-degree charge. Now, I did a little research on this. I did some deep diving, and his license was suspended for a period of 1 year. So he's currently not on a suspended license. So the fact that he drove to jail, I spoke that incorrectly. The fact that he drove to court is not a problem, other than the fact that he probably left his dogs in the car. Now, it is Wednesday. It is Wednesday. Mr. Farog was just found guilty of driving with a suspended license in the third degree. The penalty that he could face from this in the sentencing, which would happen before the judge, and the judge is the one who decides this, would be up to 90 days in jail and $1,000 fine. Those are the maximums on both. He might get both of them. I don't know. But he has to be there to get them. And so now we have a game of cat and mouse, because Mr. Farog must appear before the judge to be sentenced. So the judge has issued a warrant for his arrest and no bail warrant, meaning that if they catch him, they've got to hold him. They can't just release him again. Say, yeah, we caught him and now he'll be back on his own recognizance. No, you hold him until I see him, and you drag his butt into court, says the judge, or the commissioner. I think in this case, I think it's a commissioner. You drag his butt into court, and we're going to get this sorted out, and then we'll decide what the outcome is. Also, yes, he cannot get out on bail, so he can't get out until the judge sees him. He is not in jail as of this minute. I just did a search on the Thurston County Corrections Bureau page. He has not been caught as of yet. Sentencing is sort of delayed until he shows up. I guess the judge could impose sentence and then wait, but I think that he's going to want to talk to Mr. Farog first before he actually determines the final sentence. So we're going to see that. So we're waiting to see if he shows up. He's probably not going to be there willingly, but keep in mind that very soon, Monday, as a matter of fact, he has another court case in the same court. And you can guess who's going to be there. I would not miss that for the world, although I think Mr. Farog will. That's just my little guess, is that Mr. Farog is going to probably not attend his Monday hearing as well. So we're going to see if they are able to locate him. He can't go far. He's got 3 dogs that he can't let out of his sight, right? So listen for the barking. You'll find him very quickly, but watch out for jealousy. The dog gets a little bit nippy at times. Little B says, "Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. God bless you all." Thank you. This is a crazy case, and I'm trying to walk a very fine line. I'm not trying to make fun of Mr. Farog, although he's giving us opportunity to do that. I think, if anything, this is a lesson to all of us that please have a lawyer represent you in court. Mr. Farog could have resolved this issue, and generally, when you show up in court with a lawyer and you work with the system, the penalty is generally smaller than if you fight it the way Mr. Farog did. I can't guarantee it. You know, we might have thrown the book at him anyway for all his previous offenses, but he could have ended this whole process a lot better and with less frustration all around, which generally means less cost in penalties as well. So Frog's on the lam. Farog. Sorry. And renew your driver's license legally. His was not expired. His was suspended, meaning that the state had revoked his right to drive. The privilege, let me correct that, had revoked his privilege to drive. Driving is a privilege. And they had revoked that for the period of 1 year. And this period, during that 1 year, was when he crossed over the Gore lane illegally to pass at a high rate of speed on the right. And that's when he got pulled over. And as Mr. Farog said, there's no problem driving on suspended license. It's fine. You can do it as long as you don't get pulled over. He was pulled over. And I don't agree with his whole outlook on those things. We can point out that he's ridiculous. We can. And I believe he is. Crazy Cat Queen. I don't know. I don't know, because there's another side to this, right? You've got police officers who also probably know this gentleman about as well as the judge does. Because pretty much every time he shows up in court, there's been an officer involved. And so he's well known to the local law enforcement. And I'm not sure if they're like all anxious to get up in that business again, knowing where that's going to lead. But if they do see him, they'll probably stop him. Evangeline Light says, very thankful for peace-filled place to land daily. You're also kind. Love watching and learning. Thank you very much. Lara Petrula says, Tuesday, RA can finally sing happy birthday to me. Tuesday's going to be fun. It's going to be a good day. Yes, the Gore area is where the two lanes come together. If you have the freeway driving along the straight and then you have an on-ramp coming on, usually they join on the right-hand side, the slow lane. They join that. If you tilt that up, there's a little curved area. This area in here, that's the Gore area, this Gore point. And he crossed over that. That's what his offense was. Got him pulled over, but the ticket ended up being driving on suspended license in the 3rd degree. He's hiding again to see who shows up. Yes, who's going to serve the warrant? This is why he no-showed previously. Yes, I believe he's 69, 70, roughly. He said his age at the beginning of trial. If you want to go back and watch the beginning from yesterday, he mentioned that. Is there any chance going over the sanctions response for the defense in the Maya Kowalski case today before you go? I've not looked at that one. Someone can send it to me. We might have to do it separate. It's hard because if we all do it in one, then I have to put this with the Maya Kowalski timeline and instead of the SovSit timeline or playlist. It's easier when we jump around to have separate videos. He needs to be in court next week for another case so they can get him then if he shows up. Yeah, if he does show up, he's not leaving, okay? If he's going to the bathroom, he's going to have an escort. Let's put it that way. And what time is lunch? Yeah, lunch will be provided, and it's going to be a bologna sandwich behind bars. What will we all watch today? I don't know if we have any courts going on that are really... I was peeking just while this was playing. I was taking a look around to see what else is happening. It's going to be a small court if it's anything. Let's see. Let's see who's in. Tell me, is he live again? Oh, that's my old one. Judge Elizabeth DeSanto is doing her thing. We've got Judge Wade Mercer, Jackson County, doing first appearances. First appearances are sometimes interesting. Let's see if we can take a look at this guy. This is on 2.
It'd be 370.
I believe so, Your Honor. Was it 270?
So, Ms. Dixon, no, Mr. Williams is appointed, I believe.
Oh, I apologize.
Mr. Williams, you're appointed, correct?
I am,
so
Your
I would
Honor,
have to assess that additional $100 fee. So, Ms. Dixon, that's the agreement as I understand it. The only thing I'm not sure about is how much credit you have, because I know you've been there a little while.
82 days jail credit. 82 days jail.
Wow.
82 days jail credit.
I'm guessing he has 82 days.
Is that from another facility, Mr. McDaniel, or is that from our jail?
This from here. She stood in jail for a while before she got out, and then she come back. She's been here for another 45 days or so, 50 days.
All right. Ms. Bremer, you agree with that amount of credit?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Williams, sound good to you?
It does, Your Honor.
Ms. Dixon, do you have any questions? Go ahead, Mr. McDaniel.
Just to clarify, I have not calculated. I'm just going off what the jail's telling me.
Okay. Ms. Dixon, do you have any questions about that potential agreement, ma'am?
No, sir.
Ms. Dixon, is that a charge you want to plead no contest to if I accept that agreement?
Yes, I agree.
Ms. Dixon, I need you to sign a waiver of rights form. If you haven't done so, that form waives your right to a trial and also waives your right to call and cross-examine witnesses. Mr. McDaniel is telling me you've already signed that. Ms. Dixon, I'm going to accept your plea of no contest to the charge of false report of a crime, ma'am. I'm going to adjudicate you guilty of that offense. I'm going to sentence you to 6 months in the Jackson County Jail, but you've got credit for 82 days you've already served. I've also got to impose a standard court costs and fines of $370. Ms. Dixon, on the remaining portion of your sentence, I'm recommending you for the Public Works Trustee Program, ma'am. That means the time that you have left, you can apply and possibly get in that trustee program and may cut that time down considerably. Ma'am, see if I've forgotten anything. No probation to follow in this case. I think that's everything. Mr. Williams, anything else I may have missed?
I don't believe so, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Ms. Bremer, anything from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Dixon, any questions, ma'am?
No, sir.
Ma'am, I wish you the best. Mr. Williams, thank you for getting this matter resolved. Appreciate it, sir.
No problem, Your Honor. And thank you for allowing me to appear by Zoom. And happy Thanksgiving to all of you people. Have a good one.
Ms. Williams, have a good one yourself. Take care, sir. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move to the first appearances now. We'll have to come back to our two non-English speaking individuals unless Mr. McDaniel feels they speak enough English and want to go forward without an interpreter. The first case that has friends or family here is going to be Hank Hussey. Mr. Hussey, come on up. Mr. Hussey.
It's a weird Zoom
Mr. Hussey, good morning. Mr. Hussey, you're here for first appearance accused of one count of possession of methamphetamine and one count of possession of drug paraphernalia. Mr. Hussey, there is probable cause for the charge, and I did refresh my memory a little bit about your criminal history this morning. Mr. Hussey, I'm have no problem setting you a bond this morning. I think you're entitled to one, but I want to see if the state or defense have any additional information before I address that. Ms. Bremer, anything from the state?
Your Honor, the state just requests a reasonable bond and no possession or consumption of an illegal substance or a substance without a prescription.
All right, thank you. Mr. McDaniel, anything, sir?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Hussey, I would set you a standard bond, which is $5,000 on the felony and $2,500 on the misdemeanor. Ms. Bremer, Mr. Hussey's mother's in the courtroom. Mr. Hussey, I don't think I told you that, but your mom is here. And she's posted bond many times over the years for both Mr. Hussey and Mr. Hussey's brother. And I kind of hate for her to waste that money to a bondsman. I've never known either of those individuals not to show up in court when they're supposed to. Is the state having opposition to a cash bond instead of giving money to a bondsman?
No, Your Honor.
That was really cool.
Ma'am, would you prefer a cash bond? Do you know how a cash bond works? So if I set a surety bond, as you've done many times, you give 10% to the bondsman and it's gone. You don't get it back, correct? If I take that 10% amount, in your case, in this case, that'd be $750. You would still have to pay $750. But the difference is if the case against your son is dismissed, that $750 would be returned to you. That's the way a cash bond works. It's different than a surety bond. But if the case is not dismissed, the money doesn't just go to a bondsman, the money goes towards court costs and fines. Would you prefer a cash bond or would you prefer to go through a bondsman? Okay. Is there a lesser amount than that you do have? If I say that $500, can you post that? Is it your desire to post that? Okay. Okay. And you prefer a cash bond so that you can.
Good morning.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is this. I'm gonna set the bond at $350 on the methamphetamine cash only. Okay. $150 cash only on the paraphernalia. Total bond is $500. Mr. Hussey, your mom's gonna try to post that bond as soon as she can and get you out of there. Mr. Hussey, your bond has a condition that you not possess or consume any drugs.
Okay, we're gonna turn the sound off. Who's on the phone? Sorry, I couldn't hear your voice.
It's Bree.
Hey, Bree. What's happening?
It's Bree. Sorry.
What's on your mind this morning?
Good morning. I just called to tell you there was a few of us in the Facebook chat that followed this live yesterday. 16 minutes.
16 minutes of deliberation?
16 minutes for deliberation. And that's give or take because he cuts off the camera and then you have to watch for it to pick back up. So you're kind of looking at your clock, kind of seeing when the stream's going to come on. So we estimated about 16 minutes yesterday.
That's awesome. Bree, thank you for that. I just noticed on our screen, we just got an intergalactic translator who just joined the feed. This guy's he's out of this world. He's incredible. Well, look at his backdrop. He's like checking in from the space station. But
well, that's what we're here for. It's the day before Thanksgiving.
It is.
It's hump day.
It is.
What else do you need on a Wednesday?
I know it's going to be great. All right, thank you very much, Bree. Appreciate you.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.
Good morning, Mr. Larson. We have our first case is Marvin V. Hill, perhaps. Mr. McDaniel, were you able to communicate with him at all?
I had some Spanish letters I gave him, but I was not able to. I communicated with him through letters, but he don't speak any English. Neither one of them do.
Okay.
But I have it off. We're going. If you see my text message, we're going to be admitting him into him.
Mr. Loxton, if you'd please introduce yourself to Mr. V. Hill and make sure he can hear you, sir.
Yes, sir. Señor, ¿me oye usted, caballero?
Sí, señor.
¿Cómo se llama usted?
Marvin Andrade Vigil.
Marvin Andrade Vigil? Yes, Judge. We're fine.
Can you hear me? Yes. What's your name? He gave his name.
Mr. Vigil, good morning, sir. I'm Judge Mercer.
Señor Vigil, buenos días. Yo soy el juez Mercer.
You're here because you've been accused of violating the terms of your county probation.
Está aquí porque se le acusa de quebrantar o violar los términos de la probatoria que usted tenía con el condado.
I am appointing the public defender's office to represent you.
Le voy a designar un abogado del defensor público para defenderlo.
And I'm asking that you listen to your attorney, Mr. McDaniel.
Y le estoy pidiendo que usted escuche a su abogado, señor McDaniel.
Your Honor, I've spoken to Marvin. At this point in time, he's going to plead of no contest to the charge of no valid license. Or he's going to admit that he violated his probation. I apologize.
So which is it, counsel? I'm sorry, both of them?
No, I apologize. Let me start over, sir. So I've spoken to Marvin. At this point in time, he's going to admit that he violated his probation.
Okay, he hablado con el señor Marvin. En este momento, y él va a admitir que él quebrantó la probatoria.
With the understanding that he's going to be sentenced to 30 days in the county jail, he'll have 11 days jail credit.
Y él entiende que lo van a condenar a 30 días en la cárcel del condado. Tiene 11 días de crédito.
He can be released from jail immediately upon the payment of the remaining fines and costs, which is $199.01, which will be paid at the clerk of court.
Don't forget that penny.
Y lo pueden dejar salir inmediatamente una vez que pague también los $199.01 que debe y se puede pagar en la oficina de la Secretaría del Tribunal, Clerk of Court.
Okay. Nothing else, John.
That's all.
Eso es todo.
Mr. Vigil, did you hear that agreement?
Señor Vigil, ¿usted oyó ese acuerdo?
Sí, señor.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions about that agreement?
¿Tiene alguna pregunta sobre ese acuerdo?
Solamente si puedo hacerlo yo, si puedo pagarlo yo, porque tengo mi dinero aquí cash.
The only question I have is if I can pay for it. I have the money here in here cash.
This is a
Let's
tricky
ask the
thing.
corporal that question to make sure we're on the same page.
Vamos a preguntarle al oficial.
And what is that amount again, Mr. McDaniel?
$199.01.
$199.01.
So, Corporal, I want to make sure he's got that amount after any booking fees that y'all are allowed to withdraw.
I'll have to check with administration up front because I don't have access to his accounts, but I do believe he does.
Sí, señor, quieren asegurarse que usted tenga el dinero suficiente porque cuando lo fichan le sacan algún dinero por los días que usted se queda ahí, pero van a ver cuánto tiene.
Okay.
Corporal,
okay.
Corporal, for his benefit, how much would have to be withdrawn for booking fees?
$25 and maybe another $270, so about $28 roughly.
I thought 270. No,
So más o menos le
$2.70.
sacan $28 por registrarlo en la cárcel.
Mr. Vigil, the reason I'm asking those questions is under Florida law, they can charge a booking fee to you out of your assets.
They can charge you out of your assets.
La
Excuse
razón por
me,
la
out
que
of your
hago esa
assets.
pregunta es que bajo la
Sorry,
ley de la
folks.
Florida le pueden cobrar una tasa para registrarlo en la cárcel.
So as long as you have enough assets to cover the $199 plus approximately $28, then yes, you can use your own funds.
Entonces, siempre y cuando usted tenga el dinero suficiente ahí dentro, que sería 199 más $28, entonces sí puede utilizar ese dinero para pagar.
Do you have any other questions?
Okay. ¿Tiene alguna otra pregunta?
No, solamente.
No, that was it.
And is this the plea you would like to enter?
¿Y este es el acuerdo que usted quiere aceptar?
Sí, señor.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to accept your admission that you violated the terms and conditions of your probation.
Sí, voy a aceptar que usted ha admitido que quebrantó los términos de su probatoria.
I'm going to revoke your probation and sentence you to 30 days in the Jackson County Jail.
Le revoco la probatoria, se la cancelo y le condeno a 30 días en la cárcel de Jackson.
But I'm going to allow you to purge that sentence and be released at any time after serving 10 days.
Pero le permito evitar esa condena y dejarlo salir después de haber cumplido 10 días.
By paying the purge amount of $199.01.
Al pagar $199.01 para cubrirlo.
Since you have already served more than the 10 days, that means you can make the purge amount immediately.
Y ya que usted ha cumplido más de los 10 días, eso quiere decir que usted puede pagar la tasa esa inmediatamente.
You're given credit for 11 days you've already served.
¿Le dan crédito por 11 días que ya ha cumplido?
Now listen carefully, please.
Escuche con atención, por favor.
No one wants you to spend the Thanksgiving holidays in the jail.
Sí, nadie quiere que usted pase los días de acción de gracias en la cárcel.
But that purge amount has to be paid while the clerk's office is open.
Pero esa cantidad, la tasa, se tiene que pagar mientras esté abierta la oficina de la Secretaría del Tribunal.
Their hours are 8 a.m. till 4:30 p.m.
Sí, las horas de ellos son de las 8:30 de la mañana hasta las 4:30 de la tarde.
So if something happens and you don't have enough in your own funds to make that payment, you've got to get it paid by 4:30 today, or you will not be released today.
Sí. Si algo pasa y usted no tiene el dinero suficiente ahí en su posesión, va a tener que conseguir dinero para pagarlo antes de las 4:30, si no, no lo dejan salir.
And then if you don't get it paid today, the next time you can pay it will be Monday.
Sí, si no lo pago hoy, la próxima vez que va a poder pagarlo va a ser el lunes.
But if you have enough of your own funds, you'll pay it today and be released.
Pero si tiene bastante dinero ahí en su propiedad, lo dejarán salir.
Do you have any questions?
¿Tiene alguna pregunta?
Tengo una persona que me va a prestar dinero aquí y entonces yo mismo voy a pagar todo.
I have a person that will lend me that money here, so I'll pay for everything.
All right. Wish you the best, sir.
Okay, le deseo lo mejor.
All right, we're going to make a jump.
If there's a problem with him paying that for some reason, please
But let me see what this
okay?
guy's charged with first, and then we're going to make a jump.
Thank you.
It's just like a drug
Was that a
possession.
withhold, Your Honor?
Yes.
Sí, le retienen la adjudicación.
Next case is Jorge Bermudez Garcia.
Jorge Bermúdez García, ¿me oye?
And, sir, good morning. You're here because you've been accused of one count of driving a motor vehicle with no valid driver's license.
Señor, buenos días.
We're going to bail on this one. We're going to jump right over here.
$5,000 of it already.
To Mr.
All right, very good.
Judge Middleton,
Well,
who's live right now.
It's better to keep a good tenant in there than to move one out and move another one in, and they would prefer to get their rent.
The best ponytail on the bench right here.
Is a good start, but it still leaves $8,000 due and owing.
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm trying to get a little bit of help to catch that up.
Right.
And
I'm all in favor of that. So let's see what you can accomplish between now and December 4th.
Okay.
So we'll be by Zoom again, December 4th at 2:00. Mr. Gibson, anything to add?
The only thing I would add is if the defendant cannot bring the payments current, we also, in this case, are seeking a money judgment.
All right, we'll get to that when we get to it. All right, Mr. Wareham, good luck with the VA. Hopefully they can give you some assistance. You can get caught up in this. Otherwise, if they got what they asked for, you'd have to pay the balance of the rent by December 14th or move out. And if you don't move out, the sheriff would come force the eviction. So let's see what you can get from VA. You can accept payment, but the only thing that will cure this is paying the entire amount.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, sir. I'll see you on December 4th.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lehman. Thank you, Mr. Gibson.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Let's see if anybody else is up here. This judge is really funny when people appear in court.
All right. I think the Birch family used to live in this house. All right, Paul, thank you. My next case is not until 10:30. So I have a break here. We're going to stop the record for a bit. We'll be back in 40 minutes. And thanks, Paul.
Okay, so we missed out on that one. Judge Middleton is a blast to watch, especially when it's I'm not so big on his tenant landlord issues, but let's see. We have let's see who we got over here. I think this is, Judge DeSanto. Let's see. Celebriel 82, welcome to the gallery. Thank you very much. Wonderful having you as a member. Thank you so much. Appreciate you joining. Let's see if there's the judge. She's back. All right, let's kick this one off, Judge. What's happening today? We got somebody in custody.
Okay, and so
What's going on here?
Okay, so we'll recall that. So we have to do the in-chambers conference with that. Recall that one. We are recalling the matter of the state of Michigan versus Henry Rossiter, 232064.
Hang on, let me try something.
All right, Jared Morty. Okay, and so counsel and Mr. Rossiter, you signed the document, and Mr. Duquette signed the document, correct, for the waiver? Correct. Okay. All right, and Mr. Rossiter, you do understand that you do have the right to have a preliminary examination where it must be shown that crime is committed and probable cause exists to charge with that crime.
Yes.
You also understand that by waiving your right to a preliminary examination, you will be gone over to court on the charges in the complaint warrant. Yes. Sorry, Counsel, your appearance of our number again, I just need to fill it out.
Carly Weller, going to be our defendant, E85354.
5354. Can you spell your last name, please?
Lowler, Lowler.
Okay, C or K for your first name?
C, C-A-R-O-Y.
Okay. All right. And I'm sorry, sir, you do understand the charge of the complaint warrant, correct?
Yes.
Has anybody promised you anything, threatened you, or coerced you in any way for you to waive your right to your preliminary examination?
No.
All right, the court will waive examination, and the defendant is brought over to circuit court for further proceedings. You are to appear in circuit court on December 7th at 9 a.m. on the charges in the complaint.
December 7th at 9 a.m.
Yes. Bond and conditions are continued. Anything else?
That's it, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Have a good holiday.
You as well.
Thank you. I'm sorry, Mr. Rossiter, when's the last time you were tested?
3 days ago.
Okay, very good. All right, and the court will, as I did indicate, will dismiss the civil infraction as well. Okay. All right, thank you.
Judge Bertram Johnson, could you put me back in the breakout room with the prosecutor? I'm sorry.
Okay, we've got a new one. Sharon just sent me one. She's the one that sent us the fun case we just followed. Let's see what's happening here in this court.
Miss Underwood, I have Mr. Voss back. So, Miss Underwood, in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Benjamin Voss, have you had an opportunity? Oh, Miss Underwood.
Miss Underwood's gone.
She probably stepped away, Mr. Voss, because I had something else going on. So, let me send her a chat. Mr. Malaro.
Oh, she's back.
I'm
she's
right
back.
here. Okay.
Just top of her head
Sorry,
is.
we never received a referral on Emily Smith.
Oh, said one was made. Let me see here.
It's okay. I'm just letting you know that. All right. So, Miss Underwood, how would you like to proceed on Miss Voss? Mr. Voss.
Your Honor, I believe Mr. Voss, Your Honor, I believe is willing to plead as charged, no supplements, Your Honor. He would hope that any jail time, Your Honor, would be deferred, assuming he is compliant with all requests from the probation department.
All right. And there is, put this here. Now, under the statute, there is, Mr. Voss, have you served any jail time on this?
Only the nighttime on it.
Just 24 hours?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, and Ms. Wagner and Ms. Underwood, there's a requirement that says at least 48 hours to be served consecutively. Can that be deferred, or?
I don't know that it can be deferred, Your Honor. I think it's mandatory, but I mean, I'll defer to the court's discretion.
So, Mr. Boss, you understand by statute, I may have to require you to serve 48 hours in the jail.
Yes, ma'am.
And I mean, we can work that around your work schedule. All right. Okay. So, all right. And so he's going to plead as charged, Ms. Underwood, with no second offense, but the third offense notice. Is that correct, Ms. Wagner?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So, Mr. Boss, you want to raise your right hand for me? Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right. So, Mr. Boss, you've heard the statement of your attorney and the prosecuting attorney. Is it your intention to plead guilty to count 1, operating while intoxicated, with the third offense notice, which makes it a maximum penalty of up to 5 years in prison with a minimum of 48 hours to be served consecutively? Is it your intention to enter that plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, I see you in a car. Do you have a valid driver's license at this point? I don't know that you're driving. I just said I see you outside. I'm not saying that you're driving, but do you have a driver's license?
No.
Okay. And you realize you're probably not going to be able to get one for a while anyway, right?
Right.
Okay.
But you're in a car.
So neither the prosecutor, the defendant, or anyone on the defendant's behalf has discussed a possible sentence with the court. Is that correct, Ms. Underwood?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Ms. Wagner?
Yes, Your Honor.
And is that correct as far as you're aware, Mr. Boss?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. If a guilty plea is accepted, there will be no trial. This means that you will be giving up rights you would have had at trial. I'm going to explain those rights to you now to make sure that you understand them. You have a right to a speedy public trial by jury. You may ask for a non-jury trial, and if the prosecutor and court agree, you can have a non-jury trial. You have the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to have the prosecuting attorney prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you are guilty, and you do not have to prove anything. You have the right to be present at trial and have witnesses against you appear at your trial and to ask those witnesses questions. You have the right to have the court order any witnesses you have for your defense to appear at the trial. You have the right to remain silent during your trial, not to have your silence used against you. However, you also have the right to testify at your trial if you want to testify. Mr. Voss, do you understand that if your plea is accepted, you may be giving up the right to appeal issues that would otherwise be appealable if you were convicted at trial? Do you understand that, Mr. Voss?
Yes, I do, ma'am.
Do you understand that any appeal from the conviction and sentence pursuant to the plea will be by application for leave to appeal and not by right? Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
If you are not a citizen of the United States of America, a conviction of a crime may result in deportation, exclusion from admission to the United States of America, or denial of naturalization. Do you have any questions about the rights that I've given to you?
No, yes, I do, ma'am. No, I don't.
Okay. So, sir, how do you wish to plead to the charge that on or about May 20 of 2023 in Rowland Township in the county of Lenawee that you did commit the offense of operating while intoxicated? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
And you would agree that you have a prior conviction on September 8th of 2021 in Lima Municipal Court in Ohio?
Yes.
And would you agree you have a prior conviction on April 12th of 22 in Lima Municipal Court in Ohio as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Has anyone made any threats or promises to you to induce you to plead guilty to this charge?
No.
Do you understand if I accept this plea, you will be giving up any and all claims that your plea is given as a result of promises or threats that were not disclosed to the court on the record during this hearing, or that it was not your own choice to enter the plea? Do you understand that?
Yes.
Is the prosecutor or defense counsel aware of any promises or threats or inducements other than the plea bargain to induce the defendant to plead guilty? Ms. Underwood?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Wagner?
No, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Voss, has your attorney promised you any particular sentence or estimated what your sentence will be?
No.
Is it your own choice to plead guilty?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so Mr. Voss, on May 20th of 2023, were you operating a motor vehicle in Rollin Township in the county of Lenawee?
Yes.
All right, and did you, and you were driving on Geneva Highway, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And would you agree that you had consumed alcohol that evening?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you agree that your blood alcohol content was higher than 0.08 grams or the legal limit?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and you have a prior conviction on September 8th of 2021 in Lyman Municipal Court in Ohio, correct?
Yes.
And then another one on April 12th of 22 in the same court in Ohio, is that correct?
Yes.
Now, are you still on probation for that offense?
No.
Okay. Ms. Wagner, are you satisfied?
Yes, I am, Your Honor. Thank you.
Is it, let's see. All right, has the court complied with MCR 6.302 B, C, and D? Ms. Underwood?
It has.
Ms. Wagner?
Yes, Your Honor.
I accept the plea. It has been given understandably, voluntarily, and accurately. The defendant has full knowledge of his rights. He does have competent counsel. This court has made no agreement regarding the possibility of a plea or possible sentence in this case with the prosecutor, the defense attorney, the defendant, or anyone acting in the interest of either of them. I'm going to refer this matter to the probation department for a pre-sentence investigation, and I will set sentencing for January 12th of 2024 at 8:15 in the morning. Mr. Voss, you will need to appear in person that day, all right?
Yes, ma'am.
And that'll be January 12th of 24 at 8:15 in the morning. Mr. Voss, I have a couple, or go ahead.
Judge, are you okay with him living in Ohio from now until sentencing, or?
Is that where you live now, Mr. Voss?
Yeah, I was supposed to start a job and I ended up with a back injury, but I'm supposed to start back to work in about 2 weeks. I do have residence here that is sober, and I also have just recently restarted at the Zeph Center and got that fully cleared with my medical to be able to pay for it. And they do offer an intensive outpatient. If the court requires that I do that, I can do
okay,
that.
Mr. Voss, that's great. I'm super proud of you for that. All right, so I'm fine with him living in Ohio, Mr. Coast.
Okay.
So, Mr. Voss, understand your bond conditions will continue, and you need to comply with them with Mr. Coast. I'm going to order, as I said, sentencing will be January 12th. I'm going to refer this matter to the probation department for a pre-sentence investigation. Mr. Voss, I'm going to put you in a breakout room with Miss Holly, and she's going to give you some instructions. You will be required to come in person for that interview with the probation department. When you meet with them, I need you to be truthful with them about your background and the events that occurred. They'll prepare a report. We will provide a copy of that report to your attorney, and your attorney will review that with you before the day of sentencing. And I am asking that, or Ms. Underwood, I'm going to require that the sentencing be in person. So, Mr. Voss, I am going to open up a breakout room with you and Miss Holly for her to get your information.
Judge, can I join that too, please, so I could get a valid address for him and also his work information?
Yeah, so let me do it again.
Whatever happens, is there no sobriety court going on now? Or
no, he doesn't want to do sobriety court. All right. Okay. Okay, I'm opening the room. Everybody go join that. Thank you. All right, so we are back on the record in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Braxton Lamar Tyndall. Mr. Lyons, you broke out and spoke with Mr. Tyndall. I have Mr. Hartung here. So, Mr. Lyons, you may proceed.
Your Honor, I simply shared with him the sum total of our in-camera discussion with counsel and the court, letting him know that he is on his last leg and at the end of the court's goodwill. I would ask the man to be set out to a date and time just prior to Christmas, Your Honor. At that time, we should be prepared to resolve this matter.
So, Mr. Lyons, are you available December 20th at 8:15 via Zoom?
Your Honor, it sounds like a good date, December 20th. That's a Wednesday?
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Do we want to do it later or earlier? Do we want to do it another day? That's
I'd say earlier. I have a follow-up. I recently had eye surgery. I had a follow-up at noon that day.
So, Ms. Adams, would there be a half hour available? Let me see here. Like on December 19th or 20th? Maybe not in the morning, but the rest of our docket?
That Wednesday is not too heavy. If maybe we did like that, it's day 2 of a jury trial.
So maybe set it. What time's your doctor appointment that day, Mr. Lyons?
It's at noon, so I'm good in the morning.
So why don't we do 10 o'clock? Okay. So we'll set this over to December 20 at 10 a.m. That'll be via Zoom. And is there anything else we need to address? Yes.
We do have a sentencing at 10. I don't know if that matters too.
Is it like a major sentencing or just a sentencing?
Just a sentencing.
10 o'clock's fine then. All right. So
Major
Mr.
sentencing?
Tyndall, Ms. Tyndall, Mr. Lyons, I will see you back December 20th at 10 a.m. via Zoom. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Have a good holiday. I'll leave it open, Mr. Tyndall, because I'll have somebody else come in. Thank you.
He was going to shut it down.
Right. So,
Holly from Probation's here. Hey, Holly, welcome.
Yeah.
Miss Underwood
okay,
is
so from the
practically
jail,
under the camera.
I need. Ms. Underwood, are you doing any of Mr. Glazier's files?
Not that I'm aware of, Your Honor.
All right, so I need, all right. I have a pickup today. Thank you, Mr. Hartwig. Have a good Thanksgiving.
I got the L.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Try to find Jack.
Okay. Yeah. All right, so I have Mr. Orozco and I have an extradition.
The pickup is Miller.
Let's see if we can take a look at Judge Clark really quickly. Let's jump over to him, shall we?
Hi, this is Judge Ann.
Oops,
So
that's
I'm
right.
ready for David. This is second floor, right?
Yes,
So I'm ready for Joel Orozco as well as David Davis.
Okay.
And then on the first floor, I have Mackenzie Miller, but I know it got bumped for the arraignment of Mr. Warner. So I'm ready for that one too.
I've never seen the judge make her own calls to the jail to
All
get
right,
people
have
up
a great
there.
day. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to switch
Bye-bye.
now. Let's go over here to, who did I say we were going to? Brantley or Clark? Judge Brantley Clark. Let's see if we hear anything. Oh, I need audio on, sorry.
And during the term of probation, the defendant will be allowed to use a firearm if it is required as a part of his military duties. I'm submitting,
Yes, Your Honor.
and Your Honor, I'm submitting the letter of apology for the court's record as well.
Ooh, he's very sorry for whatever he did. In the military, gets to use a firearm while he's on probation as long as it's for military purposes.
Where's Virginia?
Sebastian Morris.
you still want to do it?
No. Okay. Yeah, we're good.
All right, sir, you can lower your hand and state your name.
Jordan DeRoy?
All right, you can lower your hand. All right, Mr. DeRoy, you heard the announcement of Mr. Gunner, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Is that your understanding of the agreement with the state?
Yes.
Has anybody promised you anything other than what Mr. Gunner just announced in open court?
No, sir.
Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol which would impair your ability to enter the agreement or understand any of the terms and conditions of it?
No, sir.
I've been handed a plea waiver consent form. There's the front page. On the second page is a signature of the defendant line. Is that yours?
Yes, sir.
Have you had the opportunity to read that agreement?
Yes, sir.
Have you had the opportunity to go over your case with Mr. Gunner?
Yes, sir.
Have you had sufficient time to speak with Mr. Gunner about your case?
Yes, sir.
Are you satisfied with your lawyer's advice and counsel?
Yes, sir.
You understand that by entering this plea, you're waiving your right to go to trial.
Yes, sir.
You're waiving your right to require the state prove the allegations against you.
Yes, sir.
You're waiving your right to have your attorney cross-examine the state's witnesses and contest their evidence.
Yes, sir.
You're waiving your right to present any defenses that you might have to the allegations.
Yes, sir.
You're waiving your right to subpoena your own witnesses to come to court and testify on your behalf.
Yes, sir.
You're waiving your right to testify to remain silent at the trial, which would be your decision to make.
Yes, sir.
You're waiving your right to appeal anything but an illegal sentence.
Yes, sir.
Are you doing this from your own free will?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Drawing, do you feel the plea is in your best interest?
Yes, sir.
You understand if you're not a citizen of the United States, you may be subjecting yourself to deportation proceedings by entering the plea? Mr. Gunner, you stipulated a prima facie case, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Graham and Mr. Gunner's state or defense is not aware of any DNA evidence that exists which might tend to exonerate Mr. Drawing. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right. I'll accept the stipulation. I'll find as a prima facie case. I'm going to find that Mr. Drawing's plea was freely and voluntarily made after consultation with his attorney. I'm going to accept it. Adjudication of guilt is withheld as to the felony battery. He's placed on a term of probation not to exceed 5 years. He's ordered to pay fines and costs of $1,253. I'm going to reserve on the issue of restitution. He must complete 100 hours of community service work at a minimum of 8 hours a month at the direction of his probation officer. His cost of supervision will be $20 a month. If he's required to give a DNA sample, he must submit one. He's to have absolutely no contact with Jada Clark except for a letter of apology, which is one has been provided. I guess the copy has been provided to the court file, and then the original is within the state attorney's office. Within the next 30 days, Mr. DeRoy will have a psychosexual evaluation and follow any recommended counseling. During the term of probation, he will be allowed to use a firearm if it's required as part of his military duties. Have I left off anything?
No, Your Honor.
No, sir. Sir, you have 30 days to file your notice of appeal if you wish to appeal the judgment sentence. If you'd like to have an attorney to represent you and you can't afford one, one may be appointed to represent you at no charge. Good luck to you. You need to step over and speak to the probation officers.
All right, just working some things in the background here. We might have some things coming up. Exciting things. Let's see.
Mr. Evans is before you in two cases, 21-4086 and 21-4058. He's going to deny the allegations contained in the affidavit of violation. The state had made an offer of 40. The state had made an offer of 40 months. That got them to come down to 26. He has 357 days credit. He's not willing to accept that.
Yes. May I speak to Your Honor?
I mean, you can, whatever you say is on the record.
Yes, sir. I just,
It's a bad idea.
I come through Keaton House, last time I come through here just on technical violations. 38 years old. I've never had, a treatment program. Keaton House really helped me, to establish,
I'm not negotiating with you, sir.
no,
We'll set it for an evidentiary hearing December 20th at 1:30 and also
Yes,
a
sir.
preliminary hearing.
Yes, sir. Well, I'll be back out to see you.
yes, sir.
Adrian Smith?
It's not that the judge won't consider things
Who's
like that.
calling
It's
for?
that this is the wrong
Adrian
setting
Smith.
for that.
Yeah, we still haven't worked this out. The state's looking at a period of DOC. They are capped by YO. But the state didn't send their subpoenas out for this afternoon. I told Mr. Smith. So he was aware we weren't going to have an evidentiary hearing. We're going to discuss an open plea.
We'll set it for December 20th at 1:30 and at 9 o'clock.
Back out again. And Mr. Vernon?
We're looking at the upcoming trial of the Black Swan trial, Ashley Benefield. I think this is one we're going to try to follow. It starts next, let's see.
This is Bradley Vernon. He's
Starts
here
in a
on
week.
some old cases, 16-4437 and 17-0848. Unfortunately, he's in custody because he missed a Zoom hearing.
How do you
His
miss a
wife
Zoom
provided
hearing?
me with the contact information while we were in court earlier this week of his probation officer in Texas that he did continue to report until he was arrested in late September, early October. But the state wants prison time, and we're trying to get him back out to pay the restitution.
Okay. Well, let's set him for December 20th at 1:30 and at 9 o'clock and see if we'll have an evidentiary and if there's a resolution we can take care of.
Trying to see what
He
date the
does
actual
have
trial starts.
a good job that he was starting that would have enabled him to make the payments towards the restitution, which is significant in this case. If he remains incarcerated, the job will not be available if he stays in jail one more month. He's asked for an extension, but the state's not willing to do that.
Maybe curfew.
All right, what's the state's position? What are you asking for today? Just a
Not in Texas, but
Black Swan's pushed out a ways.
if you can extend it out the full period.
I'm not willing to do that.
Okay.
we just set it for December 20th at 9 and 1:30.
Yes, sir, and I will confirm the probation angle, and that may affect the state's
Very good.
position.
All right, Mr. Peacock?
Yes, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Stan Peacock, representing Denise Ayers, spelled Ayres. The case number is 23-1106B. I've gone over a plea form with her, and she is agreeable in signing on it.
On a warm
Charge
summer's
that
eve,
she is pleading to is count one,
on a
burglary of a
train bound
structure,
for nowhere.
regarding case 23-1106. As
again,
third-degree felony, it's punishable by
we were
5
both
years
too
in the state
tired
prison
to sleep.
system
It's a good song.
and a fine. She will be entering a plea today of no contest. She'll be adjudication withheld, sentenced to a period of 36 months on probation. She has 3 days credit for time served. Restitution is reserved. She understands that court costs and fines and community service hours will be imposed through the probation office. She has to complete 100 hours of public service work to be performed either through the Bay County Work Program or at the direction of the probation officer. There's a $20 fee monthly for cost of supervision. She will provide a DNA sample. She is to forfeit any seized items that may have occurred in the case. She stipulates to a factual basis of probable cause affidavit as prima facie for the offense that is being pled to. She agrees to the imposition of the minimum cost for prosecution under section 938.27, subparagraph 8. She is to have no contact at all with any other alleged victim or alleged co-defendants. She has signed in the appropriate places, and the prosecutor has signed off on it as well. I'll tender that to the court deputy.
You got the agreement with the state?
Yes, Your Honor.
Hey, Molly, because of the political ramifications on this
We'll need
case,
a call
it would
sheet,
be
Mr.
one we
Call.
definitely would
Call
put on the
sheet.
other channel,
Is it
not
A
on
or
this
B,
one.
Madam Clerk?
But is there something upcoming in that case? Because that might be interesting. That's
Cost
that's,
sheet that
that's
you're
definitely
pleading
got
to,
some
you need
fireworks
to
in it.
sign your name right here where it says defendant.
Okay.
Is this still ongoing cases regarding the takeover of the federal building? That seemed like it was forever ago.
Right.
I do.
Ms. Ayers, state your name.
Denise Ayers.
Ms. Ayers, you heard the announcement of Mr. Peacock, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Is that your understanding of the agreement with the state?
Yes, sir.
Has anybody promised you anything different?
No, sir.
Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol this morning which would impair your ability to enter the agreement or understanding the terms and conditions of it?
No, sir.
I've been handed a plea waiver consent form. There's the front. On the back of that document is a signature of the defendant line. Is that yours?
Yes, sir.
Have you had a chance to read that agreement?
Yes, sir.
Have you had a chance to go over your case with Mr. Peacock?
Yes, sir.
Have you had sufficient time to speak with Mr. Peacock about your case?
Yes, sir.
Are you satisfied with your lawyer's advice and counsel?
Yes, sir.
You understand that by entering this plea, you're waiving your right to go to trial.
Yes, sir.
You're waiving your right to require the state prove the allegations against you.
Yes, sir.
You're waiving your right to have your attorney cross-examine the state's witnesses and contest their evidence.
Yes, sir.
You're waiving your right to present any defenses that you might have to the allegations.
Yes, sir.
You're waiving your right to subpoena your own witnesses to come to court and testify on your behalf.
Yes, sir.
You're waiving your right to testify to remain silent at the trial, which would be a decision you'd have to make.
Yes, sir.
You're waiving your right to appeal anything but an illegal sentence.
Yes, sir.
Are you doing this for your own free will?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Ayers, do you feel this plea is in your best interest?
Yes, sir.
You understand if you're not a citizen of the United States, you may be subjecting yourself to deportation proceedings by entering the plea?
Yes, sir.
State or defense aware of any DNA evidence that exists which might tend to exonerate Ms. Ayers?
No, sir.
All right, okay, no. And Mr. Peacock, you'll stipulate the prima facie case?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'll accept the stipulation. I'll find it as a prima facie case, and we'll find that Ms. Ayers' plea was freely and voluntarily made after consultation with her attorney. I'm going to accept it. As to the burglary of a structure, adjudication of guilt is withheld. She's placed on a term of probation not to exceed 36 months. She's ordered to pay fines and costs of $1,028. I am going to reserve on the issue of restitution. She must complete 100 hours of community service work at a minimum of 8 hours a month through the Bay County Work Program. I will give the Florida Department of Corrections the discretion to amend that at the direction of a probation officer. Her cost of supervision will be $20 a month. If she's required to give a DNA sample, she must submit one. She'll forfeit all seized items. She's to have no contact with any victims or co-defendants. She must complete a theft course. She must maintain employment of at least 30 hours a week or show proof of 3 job applications per week. Ms. Ayers, you have 30 days to file your notice of appeal. If you wish to appeal the judgment sentence, if you'd like to have an attorney to represent you, and you can't afford one may be appointed to represent you at no charge. Good luck to you, ma'am. You
Thank
step
you.
over and speak to the probation officer.
Thank you.
Okay, you're going to go over and talk to that lady, right? Thank you, Your Honor. That will conclude my business.
Good day.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Mr. Pack, it looks like we have, and I can't think of, sir, I'm sorry, Mr. From First Circuit.
Yes, sir, yes, Judge, Mr. AJ Gomez for the State Attorney's Office.
Mr. Gomez in State of Florida versus Stowe. Mr. Peacock, Mr. Stowe present.
Ms. Nelson sending him the same information, Judge, right now.
All right, as soon as he gets on Zoom, sir, we'll call the case back up, okay?
Okay, Your Honor, is it all right if I actually come back in maybe like 30 or 45 minutes? I'm in jury trial review here in Okaloosa County, and I kind of need to handle that.
We'll take it up whenever you get back on.
Awesome, thank you, Judge. I'll be back.
Yes, sir. I'm ready, Mr. Daffin.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
Sebastian Morris. Our approach is Mr. Morris in 224918. He's been able to reach an agreement with the state, so this time he would admit his violation pursuant to that agreement with the state, Your Honor. He would be adjudicated guilty. He would be sentenced to time served, 43, credit for 43, no probation to follow. Court cost, attorney fees assessed, $250, waive reading of discretionary costs, including the cost of prosecution. Civil judgment for any and all unpaid monetary obligations, and that is the agreement with the state.
All right, very good.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Morrison, lower your hand, sir, and state your name.
Sebastian Morris.
Mr. Morris, you heard the announcement of Mr. Daffin, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Is that your understanding of the agreement with the state?
Yes, sir.
Has anybody promised you anything different?
No, sir.
Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol this morning which would impair your ability to enter the agreement or understanding the terms and conditions of it?
No, sir.
I've been handed a violation of probation community control plea form. There's a signature over the defendant line. Is that yours?
Yes, sir.
Have you had the opportunity to read that agreement?
Yes, sir.
Have you had the opportunity to go over your violation report with Mr. Daffin?
Yes, sir.
Have you had sufficient time to speak with Mr. Daffin about your case?
Yes, sir.
Are you satisfied with your lawyer's advice and counsel?
Yes, sir.
You understand that by entering this plea, you're waiving your right to have an evidentiary hearing?
Yes, sir.
You're waiving your right to require the state to prove the allegations against you.
Yes, sir.
You're waiving your right to have your attorney cross-examine the state's witnesses and contest their evidence.
Yes, sir.
You're waiving your right to present any defenses you may have to the allegations.
Yes, sir.
You're waiving your right to subpoena your own witnesses to come to court and testify on your behalf.
Yes, sir.
You're waiving your right to testify to remain silent at the evidentiary hearing, which will be your decision to make.
Yes, sir.
You're waiving your right to appeal anything but an illegal sentence.
Yes, sir.
You're doing this of your own free will.
Yes, sir.
You feel the admissions in your best interest.
Yes, sir.
All right, and Mr. Morris, do you agree you violated the terms and conditions of your probation, among other things, failing to report and absconding from supervision?
Yes, sir.
I'll find there's a basis for the admission. I'm gonna find that Mr. Morris's admission was freely and voluntarily made after consultation with Mr. Daffin. I'm going to accept it. He's adjudicated guilty. His probation is revoked. He's adjudicated guilty of fraudulent use of a credit card, more than $100. He is sentenced to 43 days in the Bay County Jail, given credit for 43 days time served. All monies previously imposed and not paid are reduced to a civil judgment. There's an additional $250 imposed today for the cost of the prosecution of the violation of probation. That's also reduced to a civil judgment. Mr. Morris, you have 30 days to file your notice of appeal. If you wish to appeal the judgment sentence, if you'd like to have an attorney to represent you, you can afford one. One may be appointed to represent you at no charge. Good luck to you, sir. You can step over and be fingerprinted.
James Bailey.
All right. This does seem a little tame, but sometimes this court can just go off the rails.
Mr. James Bailey, 2311, as well as an outstanding misdemeanor, Madam Clerk, 235528 MM. Mr. Bailey's been able to reach an agreement with the state, Your Honor. At this time, he'd enter a plea of no contest to one count of domestic battery, strangulation, third-degree felony, punishable by up to 5 years in prison.
Ooh.
All remaining counts to be consolidated. For the misdemeanor, resisting officer without violence, first-degree misdemeanor, pursuant to his agreement with the state, be adjudicated guilty of both counts, placed on probation for a term of 48 months. Time served on his misdemeanor, 1 for 1. Court costs to reflect 1028 plus 352, waive reading of discretionary costs, including the $100 cost of prosecution. Restitution is reserved, 100 hours of community service at a rate of 8 hours a month, $20 a month, cost of supervision. Submit to drug and alcohol evaluation and counseling is recommended with zero tolerance for use of controlled substance and random UAs at his own expense. DMV may apply additional penalties, stipulates to the facts for purposes of a plea, provided DNA sample, forfeit seized items, no contact with the victim in the case, and must complete the 29-week batterers intervention program. And that is the agreement with the state, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor. We already signed it. Okay, thank you.
On this way, the testimony you're about to give.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Bailey, state your name.
James Bailey.
Bailey, you heard the announcement of Mr. Daffin. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Is that your understanding of the agreement with the state?
Yes, sir.
Has anybody promised you anything other than what your lawyer has just announced in open court?
No, sir.
Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol today which would affect your ability to enter the agreement or understand the terms and conditions of it?
No, sir.
Stipulate. Oh.
I've been handed a plea waiver consent form. There's a front page. And the second page is a signature of the defendant line. Is that yours?
Yes, sir.
You had a chance to read that agreement?
Yes, sir.
Have you had a chance to go over your case with Mr. Daffin?
Yes, sir.
Have you had sufficient time to speak with Mr. Daffin about your case?
Yes, sir.
Are you satisfied with your lawyer's advice and counsel?
Yes, sir.
You understand that by entering this plea, you're waiving your right to go to trial.
Yes, sir.
You're waiving your right to require the state to prove the allegations against you.
Yes, sir.
You're waiving your right to have your attorney cross-examine the state's witnesses and contest their evidence.
Yes, sir.
You're waiving your right to present any defenses you may have to the allegations.
Yes, sir.
You're waiving your right to subpoena your own witnesses to come to court and testify on your behalf.
Yes, sir.
You're waiving your right to testify to remain silent at the trial, which will be your decision to make.
Yes, sir.
You're waiving your right to appeal anything but an illegal sentence.
Yes, sir.
Are you doing this for your own free will?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Bailey, do you feel the pleas in your best interest?
Yes, sir.
You understand if you're not a citizen of the United States, you may be subjecting yourself to deportation proceedings by entering the plea?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Graham and Mr. Daffin state a defense where of any DNA evidence that exists which might tend to exonerate Mr. Bailey.
No, Your Honor.
No, sir, Your Honor.
You see, will you stipulate the prima facie case?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
I'll accept the stipulation. I'll find it as a prima facie case. I'm going to find that Mr. Bailey's plea was freely and voluntarily made after consultation with his attorney. I'm going to accept it. I'm going to, he's pleading to one count of domestic violence battery. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Other two, everything else has been consolidated into that.
Yes, sir.
He'll be adjudicated guilty of domestic violence battery by strangulation. And in case number 235528, he'll be adjudicated guilty of resisting an officer without violence. On the felony, he's placed on a term of probation not to exceed 48 months. He's ordered to pay fines and costs of $1,028 and another $352 based on the nature of the charge. I'm going to reserve on the issue of restitution. He must complete 100 hours of community service work at a minimum of 8 hours a month through the Bay County Work Program. I will give the Florida Department of Corrections the discretion to amend that to at the direction of a probation officer. His cost of supervision will be $20 a month. Within the next 30 days, he must undergo a drug and alcohol evaluation, follow all recommended counseling, zero tolerance for use of any controlled substance not prescribed by a treating physician. He'll be subject to random UAs at his own expense. Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles may apply additional penalties. If he's required to give a DNA sample, he must submit one. He'll forfeit any seized items, no contact with the victim. He must enter and successfully complete the batter's intervention program. And on the misdemeanor, he is sentenced to time he served in the Bay County Jail, given credit for that time. Have I left off anything?
I don't believe so, Your Honor.
Mr. Bailey, you have 30 days to file your notice of appeal. If you wish to appeal the judgment sentence, if you'd like to have an attorney to represent you and you can't afford one may be appointed to represent you at no charge. Good luck to you, sir. You can step over, be fingerprinted, and speak to the probation officer.
Mr. Rigdon? Our approaching is Joseph Rigdon, 2364. He's been able to reach an agreement with the state, Your Honor, so this time he'd enter a plea of no contest to one count of misdemeanor domestic battery.
We're going nowhere on this
probation.
Hey, you just said it, you know.
I'm going to pass it up.
Yeah, I don't need to.
Let's jump over to the
All right, sir, I'm
samples
going to
real quick.
accept the plea.
She just stamped something so
Judge,
official.
my client is at the brink of losing his apartment, being evicted. He's very concerned about that. And he understands that there's to be no breaking of the law in the while this case is pending.
Just don't break the law at all.
He's a CNA. He's in jeopardy of losing a lot. And right now, the immediate concern is his job, Judge. So I'd respectfully ask for a personal bond, perhaps with a tether.
All right, well, Mr. Weaver.
Yes, ma'am.
You are you currently on probation or parole anywhere?
No, ma'am.
Concern is his job.
I'm sorry?
You Rana, that was somebody else inadvertently unmuting.
I want to know what the charge is. He's a CNA. He agrees to not break the law while he's on probation. After that, he makes no guarantees.
Well, counsel, there's some concern that your client was in possession of a stolen vehicle as well out of Tennessee. So I know that he's not charged with that at this point, but I know that that was one of the concerns that this court had when assessing the bond in this matter.
I don't know who Michael Cruz is, but he's got some words to say down there.
Yes, Judge. I think it's the other defendant that's on that charge, but.
Well, your client was the one that was in the driver's seat.
About that. Define possession.
Just several paragraphs down below, they say that it's the co-defendant, and then I saw the co-defendant on video.
Yeah, no, you're right. The co-defendant's here, and the co-defendant seems to know, seems to have knowledge of that as well. And where do you work, sir?
Me?
Yes.
Oh, Mission Point Nursing Home on Woodward and Claremont in the city of Detroit, Michigan.
That's difficult work.
How long have you worked there, sir?
For about 2 months now.
Well, you're playing, you're not on probation anymore, sir? You successfully completed your prior probation?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, the court has some concerns regarding the charges here. The court will do, counsel, the court will amend the bond to be 5,000, 10%. But I'm not going to a personal bond.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Have a good holiday.
You do the same, Judge.
Same to you.
You do the same, Judge, he says. Ooh, this lawyer Jahid Kadaf, the guy in the blue cardigan. He's sitting outside his law firm, I think, in front of the sign, which is an interesting backdrop. He's got an extension cord running his laptop. Maybe he's in the conference room.
Okay. We are on the record in the matter, we're recalling the matter of the state of Michigan versus Brandon Boyd, 232069.
Good morning, Your Honor Wyatt. Good morning, Your Honor Wyatt Harris, P54891. On behalf of Mr. Boyd, I appear via Zoom. Mr. Boyd is there in the courtroom. Thank you.
Oh, we see him.
I think you said 54891, counsel?
Yes.
Okay. All right, Mr. Boyd, your name for the record, please.
Yes, Brandon Boyd.
All right. And today is the date scheduled for the probable cause conference in this matter. And I do apologize for your wait. And counsel?
Your Honor, I understand that Mr. Boyd, after speaking with Mr. Boyd, wishes to waive his right to a preliminary examination. And I would ask the court to sign a waiver on my behalf. And I leave Mr. Boyd for a voir dire.
Michael Cruz is, they're going to hold up, he's going to write something. Hang on. He's going to hold it up to the camera. This is going to be good. Michael Cruz, they're communicating with each other. I think they're a co-defendant.
I'm going to presume it was the prosecuting attorney that wrote that, but I will write on this via Zoom, okay?
Thank you.
All right. All right, Mr. Boyd.
He's like, hey, I need to talk. How do I unmute?
You understand that you do have the right to have a preliminary examination, and by entering or by waiving your right to your preliminary examination, you will not have that examination.
Yes, ma'am.
You also understand that at the preliminary examination must be shown a crime has committed a probable cause exists to charge you with that crime.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Cruz was trying to talk to that defendant. Interesting that he might be the co-defendant.
Examination, you will be brought over to circuit court on the charges in the complaint.
Yes, ma'am.
And you understand what those charges in the complaint are, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Has anybody promised you anything, threatened you, or coerced you in any way for you to waive your right to your preliminary examination? All right. All right, the court will note examination has been waived. Defendant is bound over circuit court for further proceedings. You are to appear in circuit court on December 7th at 9 a.m. on the charges in the complaint. And counsel, anything else?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, sir, how'd you get here today?
My mother.
Where's your mother?
She took my girlfriend back home because she had to go to work.
Okay, I did see some other people here with you.
Yeah,
So
she had to go to work.
I'll make sure you're not driving.
Make sure
All
you're
right,
not
bond
driving.
conditions are continued and have a good house.
Attorney Kadaf, I think he's inside. He just has a sign on his wall that says lawyer.
No, you already did. You signed your waiver.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Have a good day.
Mr. Boyd, we'll talk.
All right, let's go off the record.
Thank you,
I'm
Judge.
just waiting for the file on Mr. Stepp, Mr. Gaddafi, okay? Did you already speak to the prosecuting attorney?
Yeah, no, Your Honor, we are just going to set this for an exam, but I have not spoken to the prosecuting attorney yet.
Oh, okay. I will throw you on in there. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I didn't realize you hadn't spoken to him yet. Ms. Coulters, if you could please join breakout room 3, that'd be great. And Ms. Marsh, we are still waiting for, no, did you speak, Mr. Masalusi?
No, Judge.
Did you speak?
I was still trying to speak to my client. They said he was in the lobby, but he did not sign on. And I do not have a good phone number for him, or I would have just called him.
Bench warrant.
Mr.
Was
Masalusi went out to the breakout room to, or went out in the lobby to sign in for the breakout room. So we just, all right, we'll find out what's going on, okay?
Thanks, Judge.
Maybe he's having some troubles connecting.
Zoom is hard.
All right, this is the matter of the state of Michigan versus Mark Patrick Dow II, 232264. That's Eric Arizona checked in? No. Mr. Sarnowski.
Right here. Mark Lake and
Good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor. For Mr. Dow, for final contest, we're ready. Rather, you wanted us to come down here. Ready for trial.
Guys, hold tight. We've got something good coming up. Let me get this in order.
Well, today was scheduled for the final pretrial. Yes, we're scheduled for bench trial on December 14th. And so this was set for final pretrial to see if there was any other resolution to this matter. And so it appears as though there is not, correct?
There is not.
Okay. All right, and did you receive, all right. Answer your name for the record, please.
Mark Patrick Dow III.
Okay.
You guys still have.
Oh, that's right, the third. Yes, I did add you on here as the third. So, do you have your identification with you, sir?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to make a note for you to stop at the window, show your identification so we can make that correction so that it's corrected on our register of actions here, okay?
Okay, guys. Do you guys hear what I hear? Yes, you hear a police chase because we have a police chase. It's not live. It happened yesterday, but we're going to bring it to you as if it was live. Give us just a second. Hold tight, because it's going to be on... Let's see, what channel is it on? So we're on 3. We're going to be on 3. Wait for it. Here it comes. There we go. We have a police chase out of Milwaukee. And it involves an Amazon truck, a stolen Amazon truck. We are live on board with, as live on board.
At that Amazon truck, eastbound on Meineke from 60th.
That was a stop sign.
Still going eastbound.
That's another stop sign.
Taking the robbery eastbound.
That's another stop sign.
Stand by, we're going to be going northbound on 56, off of Meineke.
Some people steal packages, other people steal the package truck.
Still northbound, speeds, 45.
Oh, speed bump.
Approaching Lisbon. Going eastbound on Lisbon, slowing in traffic, stand by. Still eastbound on Lisbon. Wrong lane to Trenton. Disregard. Eastbound on Lisbon, 54th Street.
This officer's doing a great job with the live narration.
Speed's 40. Stand by, he's on the wrong side of the road. Still eastbound, approaching 51st. Eastbound on 51st. Through the intersection, going past District 3. All over the road. Still eastbound speed 60. Getting caught up in traffic here by 175. Wrong side of the road, stand by.
He's making these notes. We can go back and watch his video and write up all these charges.
175 south. Here we go. Speed's 50. Road's clear. Traffic light. Vehicle is a blue Amazon with a police number of X-ray 17. License plate X-ray Edward 29707. We are still eastbound. We just passed the squad that we're hoping to come behind me here. Still southbound, so southbound, so stay by. Speed 70. Traffic is clear. Road's clear.
Somebody honked.
Appears to be one black male driving. Matches the description given. I know I'm District 4. Sorry, I'll jump to 7.
This was not yesterday. I think it was just released yesterday. My apologies.
857 for the air and 3. In pursuit of an Amazon truck that was taken in robbery. We are southbound on 175. Roads are clear, speeds of 69. We're still eastbound. Notify the sheriffs, please. Okay, we're going to be connected 94 eastbound. Connector ramp at the stadium here. It's going to go east on 94. I can't hear whoever's talking.
7217 monitor.
Alright, we're eastbound on 94. Traffic is medium. Roads are cleared. Stand by, here we go, eastbound still. Approaching 35th Street exit. Don't be surprised if he tries to do the old okey-doke. And nope, you're going to be 35th Street exit. Stand by, see which way he's going. Alright, now we're going northbound on 35. 35, crossing over the freeway. Let's see, speeds 45, crossing Mount Vernon. Speeds 48, stolen Amazon truck. Wisconsin plate X-ray Edward 29707. Fleet number X-ray 17. Still northbound on 35. Approaching Michigan. We're crossing Michigan. Wisconsin Avenue, stand by. Eastbound on Wisconsin from 35th Street, northwest Marquette High School. Speed 65, roads clear, traffic light. Slowing down. Okay, I got a District 3 squad coming up here. Approaching 27. Light is green. Stand by, which way is he going to go? Through the red light. And 27 still eastbound.
That was a yellow, that was not red.
Stand by, guys.
Six authorized.
857, we're still eastbound.
Is pit authorized?
Around these brakes. We're approaching 24th. We're going to go northbound on 24. 24 northbound.
7201, I'll monitor 3 cars.
Stand by, we're going to be going westbound on Wells.
814 signal monitoring.
Stand by, we're at 25 and Wells. This guy's got to be whacked. Stand by, stand by. Cars blocking him in. Now we get out of the way. Stand by, stand by. Here we go. Northbound on 25.
259 to record. One black male in the truck driver's seat looks like.
857, that's all I saw was one person driving. Nobody else in the vehicle. We're approaching 26 westbound. And we're going to be going southbound on 26 from Wells. Make that kill one, sorry.
This is why you never buy a used police vehicle.
Now we're going to be going eastbound on Wells.
Mark, can you get stop 6 out there?
Southbound on 25. Southbound on 25. He's stopping, but I don't know what he's going to do here. Stand by. Don't get too close. Yep, take it off. Southbound. Stand by. We're approaching Wisconsin. Westbound on Wisconsin Avenue. Westbound Wisconsin, wrong side of the road, approaching 27 westbound. Stand by, we're going south, southbound, 27 from Wisconsin. He's swerving, acting like a jack here.
The radio cut out there just a bit.
He's recklessly endangering safety, going big oncoming traffic swerve. We are approaching, crossing St. Paul onto the viaduct. Speeds are 70. Traffic is medium, roads clear. Wanted for robbery, Amazon truck, Wisconsin plate, X-ray, Edward 29707. Fleet number, X-ray 17, one occupant. Still southbound, getting towards the end of the viaduct, crossing Evergreen, approaching National.
3269. We can be fourth here. We can take your broadcast if that's all right with 7472.
Stand by, stand by. Here we go. We're at Pierce, through the red, crossing Pierce, still southbound, and now it's stand by. He's entering the parking lot here at the 700 block of South Caesar Chavez. I'm sorry, South Lee. Still wandering through the parking lot. We might be running out of options here. Stand by, stand by. Cars are getting out of the way of the parking lot. Speeds 10 miles an hour.
We need to hire this officer to narrate.
Going west on National.
He's doing a great job.
Going to 814 is now monitoring.
Going northbound.
814, always take cars.
Give me the air, give me the air. Here we go, northbound on 28 from National. Road's clear. He's turning right to go eastbound on Pierce, approaching 27 or Layton Boulevard again. Stand by, red light. He's staying down. He's entering the intersection, crossing. All right, we're going to be back to northbound on 27, approaching the
Hey, one of our sections here, they have 2 people broadcasting.
There he's going. Half the median, half the median.
Very much one we are all primary, we were secondary, so southbound on 27th Street. 3269. We're still don't take the broadcast. Coming up to
Yeah, we were in second, now we're like in fourth.
Alright, eastbound alley, guys. Eastbound alley. Going to 26 from Pickles. 1 block south of Pierce. He's coming up, he's coming to Pierce, guys. He's coming to Pierce.
Pin him, pin him, pin him. Oh, man. Okay, we can be third. No, you let him in. Now we're fourth. Now we're fifth. So far behind.
Speeds are 20. Roads are dry. No traffic. Sticks right there on that exit, guys. They're going to come right out to you. Perfect. Hey, slow some sticks on the way we came in. Slow some sticks on the way we came in. All right, we're rolling back out towards the viaduct. Good try, good try. All right, we're back on 27. Cross the viaduct back to District 3. And be pursuit of the same Amazon truck, wanted for armed robbery. Speed R50, Roser Drive. And no traffic is off the side of the road. We have sticks on St. Paul.
No sticks out. No stop sticks out.
Get sticks at St. Paul if you can. Speed R70, Roser Drive, and no traffic. Blue Amazon truck, wanted for armed robbery.
Armed robbery, not just robbery.
St. Paul, back off a little bit. Sticks on St. Paul. All right, come up to St. Paul. Please try to go west on you. Please go west on you guys. All right, speeds are. You can go to the gas station. Stop again. Coming through the gas station, BP line. Back to 270. Stop here. Back out and go north.
Stop sticks.
Back into the gas station, guys. Stop sticks while you're on the gas station. Keep out. You stuck in the gas station.
That was how it ended. That's where they cut it. That's where they cut it. All right. So yeah, but that was not yesterday. I apologize. The video was released yesterday, but it actually happened way back in March. Took a while to get that one out. That's what happens when delivery drivers are being replaced by AI drones. They just see the police officers as an obstacle to get away from. All right, I wanted to do a couple things. First of all, it's almost Thanksgiving. It starts tomorrow. We have a quiet day in the court system. I mean, everybody who's doing anything in court, it's quick. There's very little happening. We had an amazing end, an unpredictable. Yes, it was predictable. We had a predictable end to an amazing pro se defendant this morning. If you haven't watched that, you want to go back and watch yesterday and today, so you get the full deal. Incredible. There's more. The story keeps giving. This gentleman, Farog, is due back in court on Monday. We might just watch for that. We might just watch for that on Monday. But here's where we are. It is Wednesday. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving. I wanted to take just a minute. Hang on. I want to take just a minute and tell you guys that that this has been it has been now just over a year that I've been live streaming on YouTube. You guys know the story of me being out of work for 7 months, looking for a job and not being able to find one. Money was going, the bank account was getting smaller and smaller and smaller because I had a good job. We'd sold our house, we'd done well on that, but all of our savings just went to nothing. And I can't tell you how down to nothing we were. We started live streaming, and it took off. It took off and has been able to be something where I can do this full time and be able to provide for my family, which is wonderful. That is something that I'm grateful for. I'm thankful for that this Thanksgiving. I'm thankful for this community that is incredible, that is so much fun to watch true crime with, whether it's a car chase, whether it's a pro se or some, honestly, very difficult court cases that have some really some tough facts and situations where we see people in situations that none of us want to be in. We see people on their worst day start the gravy train. No. Greeners, I'm just saying that I look back on the last year and how we have grown as a community and how much fun it has been for me and how much it's meant to me and my family. And I wanted to say thank you. Thank you for being here. It would not be the same without you. This has been the most amazing journey, and I've loved every minute of it. And we're going to continue. We are still going to continue. Thank you, Thomas. Appreciate that. I'm mindful also, we did a poll the other day that there are many of us that, be it for geographic reasons or just our situation in life, financial or otherwise, who will not be celebrating with family and friends tomorrow and maybe be on our own. And I just want you to know that that you were on my mind, that we also are in a situation where we can't afford to fly back to where most of my family is to meet with them. It's been a few years since I've seen them. Hopefully my wife's going to get to see some of them later in the year. But hopefully we'll be able to meet up with them again here as things get a little better. But I'm mindful of those people who, for this Thanksgiving period, are grateful for things, but not able to enjoy those moments with family and friends, whether they're no longer with them, whether they're passed, or for whatever the reason. And just know that you're in my heart, and I'll be thinking of you And if there's anything I can do to help make this holiday season a little better for you, I'd love to do that. I think that's it. I don't want to get sweaty eyeballs because that happens sometimes. But this I can't say it enough. This Thanksgiving season, it's the holiday is one. It's a time where we are, we look back and we look back with thanks for the things we're grateful for. And I have a lot to be thankful for. I have the most amazing wife. I have incredible kids, 6 incredible kids. I've been blessed beyond what I deserve, as they say on the Dave Ramsey show. And then I have you guys, which is more than I deserve as well. So I just want to say thank you to each of you, and thank you for bringing what you contribute, because everyone here, whether you're just here listening and lurking and occasionally piping in with a funny comment or a question, or whether you've joined us as a subscriber and a member on the channel, all of you bring something to create what we have here, and it's unique. It's unique on YouTube. You don't find this anywhere else. It's wonderful, and so I wanted to thank you for that, and wish each and every one of you a very, very happy Thanksgiving season. Holy cow. Bug Dugger, I love you, RA Mods, chat family. Thank you very much, Bug Dugger. Samantha, happy Thanksgiving. Incredible, super generous. Chat, thank you very much. Samantha, you do an amazing job on our channel as a mod, just incredible. And honestly, one of the big reasons that people feel so welcome on the channel is the welcome they get from some of our mods when they first come in and say, hey, first time here, what's this all about? I can't thank you enough. That is wonderful. Thank you very much. Selena K just gifted 5 memberships. Thank you, Selena. Appreciate you as well. Karen Levia, I was mixing your names up. Karen Levia, happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. Love what you do. I really love what I do. This is so much fun. It really is. It's the best job in the world. Samantha Terry also gifted some memberships as well, 10 of them. Best number non-lawyer on LawTube. Thank you, Renee. Yes, I'm LawTube adjacent is what I identify as. LawTube adjacent. We have in LawTube just the most amazing people. Some of them are with very different styles than what we do, but I learned so much from all of them. Whether it's Kurt, Rob, Melanie, Megan, Peter, Ian. You've got a ton of them. You got Hogue. You've got so many just amazing, and I named maybe, I almost got half of them. But there are so many just amazing people that are out there that provide just great insight, analysis, content, and do it in a way that is just so much fun to watch. Emily D. Baker, you have to include her in there as well. Let's see. Thank you, Rudy Patootie. I appreciate that. Thank you for the good times. Thank you for all your comments. Arlene says, have best channel. Look forward to seeing you every morning. Thank you very much. I love having this to look forward to every morning. Honestly, what a great reason to get out of bed. Let's see who this is. Hang on. Hello.
Hi, Dwayne. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Good. Dwayne, my name is Charles. I work in the corporate fulfillment department at VO Getaways. The reason for the call is a while back, it looks like you purchased a travel package. It looks like you paid for the package. However, you never traveled or booked any dates. We were reaching out as a courtesy to find out if you were having problems booking, or did COVID prevent you from traveling?
I think it was a website issue. I had a problem with my password.
Oh, okay. It says you're in the beautiful state of Utah.
It's beautiful here. Any weather you want. Just wait 10 minutes and you'll see it.
I heard you got Bigfoot. You got some Bigfoots up there too. From what I understand.
I've never seen one, but I do go out looking for him.
Really?
Yeah, I've got, because the problem is this: the people who go out looking, they have the crappiest cameras, but I have a good camera, and so if I see him, it's probably how I'm going to get rich, is I'm going to take a big picture of Bigfoot.
So you believe in that thing? It actually is a living thing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm in Florida. We have something down here known as a skunk ape.
Whoa, I haven't even heard that. Is it like a humanoid figure?
It's not as big as the ones up in Utah or Northern California. This thing's supposedly probably about 6.5 to 7 feet, whereas those things that you got up there or in Northern California are apparently 8 to 12 and probably weigh closer to 1,200 pounds. These things just smell really, really bad, but they're primate-like, looking, and apparently they've been here thousands of years because the native, we have 2 tribes out here. We have the Seminole and the Miccosukee. They talk about it. It's been in their culture, but it lives way, way deep in the Everglades, very deep, further even where the airboats go.
I can't deal with the big snakes, so I wouldn't be able to chase them.
Yeah, where those came from were that was back in 1992. How these things happened was it was Hurricane Andrew hit the southern part of Florida, and it hit a bunch of pet places that had constrictors, and then they just went wild when they got broken out of them. When the hurricane broke all the building, they just kind of crawled into and they just eat anything. They're eating all our normal animals, our raccoons, our possums, our rabbits, our wild boar, our wild pigs. They're running rampant down here, and these things are monsters. They're man eaters. They can swallow a man. Yeah, they can get up to something. And we got other crazy stuff down here too. There's something on the West Coast that I saw on video. It's some big type of sea serpent thing. It grabbed the baby manatee. It was bigger than any anaconda I've ever seen. We got some very bizarre stuff down here in Florida.
Well, I have to tell you honestly, I wanted to go visit Florida, but you telling me about this probably crosses that off my bucket list.
I just don't go in the Everglades, and if you do, make sure you're armed and you're on an airboat. Don't get out of the boat.
That's crazy.
It is crazy, but yeah. There's a lot of theories about those things like that thing up there in Utah. I personally think, in my personal opinion, I think it's an ancient man. I don't think it's a primate at all. I think it's an ancient ancestor of ours that just doesn't want to have anything to do with our species.
Like it just didn't evolve all the way?
I know it evolved, but it evolved in its own. Like there was a creature that we know scientifically evolved. It was called Hyperbriganzas. This was an incredibly powerful human. They weighed anywhere between 750 to 800 pounds. They stood about 6'9", 7 foot tall. And just intelligent. They bury their dead. They know how to forge. They know how to survive. I just think it's an ancient primitive man that just doesn't, and probably got into a lot of scrapes with because we're Homo sapiens. Probably didn't like our type, and we're a warlike people. They weren't. They were nature living creatures.
This is your knowledge is unbelievable. Have you ever thought of having a podcast or doing a YouTube or something?
I'm actually, believe it or not, I was a U.S. Navy intelligence officer, and my job in the Navy was I was a marine biologist. I used to train dolphins and pilot whales to place mines on enemy ships.
Wow! How did you go from that to working in the travel industry?
I'm retired, and I got out 1 year prior to getting benefits from the Navy. You have to be in 20 to get a full benefits package. So yeah, I don't get I'm in my mid 50s. I don't get retirement from the military. I do get the dental and health, but I don't get any income as far as they basically try to get everybody out by 19 years. They don't want you to collect the benefits if you can help it.
So, but seriously, man, you could do a podcast. You could. I mean, if you were on YouTube, I would listen to you.
Well, I watch a lot of Travel Channel and History Channel. That's where I get most of my knowledge. As far as stuff in the,
do you ever watch some of
water out there?
Do you ever watch some of the true crime stuff?
I do. I tend to watch a little bit of everything. I try to cover a lot of different bases. I like to watch a lot of stuff. There's a couple shows I really enjoy actually. There's two that I really look forward to every week on Friday nights. Well, at least it's Friday night Eastern Standard. There's one with William Shatner called what the hell's that thing called? There's one called The Proof Is Out There with a black guy named Tony Harris. He's a journalist, and it's about weird stuff. Then there's another one, William Shatner, called The Unexplained.
Man, I know the names, but I haven't watched those.
Those are on the History Channel. If you get the History Channel, or if you stream the History, a lot of people stream nowadays. I got basic cable still, old school.
You got to cut the cable and just go straight YouTube. I mean, it's once you do it, you just
that's
never
what everybody
go back.
does. And, well, the thing is, I have a disabled older sister, and she's set in her old school ways for her channels, like the Me TV and all those channels that she likes. So I keep the basic service for her because she's used to it. She's not technically competent at all.
Oh man! Well, I tell you, there's one channel out there on the true crime side that you might like. It's called Recovery Addict. Have you heard of that? one? Yeah. It follows just live court cases. He does all sorts of stuff. He follows police chases, and he does. He takes prank calls. It's just a crazy channel.
Wow, I gotta check that out.
Yeah. If you do, I just say watch today's episode because you're on it.
Cool.
Yeah, but anyway, go ahead. What do you have to say?
Yeah. What I was going to say was, I was going to ask, are you married, single, or are you living with a significant other?
I'm married, quite married,
Okay.
with 6 kids.
Oh, wow. This actually might work out very well for you then. Does your wife do the travel planning for the family, or are you able to do it? Who does it?
My
Who's the
wife
one that
does,
actually-
because I struggle with passwords, and I'll like log into something, I'll sign up for something, and then I can never get back to it.
Yeah, me too. Is she happen to be home right now, so I could talk to her about what the package includes?
She's out actually shopping.
Okay. What I'll do is this, Dwayne. I'll put you guys back in the system, and this way we can contact you after the holiday rush, go over the details, get you guys registered. Because with the package that we have actually had a bunch of upgrades, so it actually works out better for you guys. And it's for up to 4 people. It includes a lot of travel. It's like four different trips all mixed into one, but you can break them down over time. There's no expiration date. There's no time limits. There's no blackout periods. There's no restrictions. It's a lot to go over, and I want to go over that with her and explain the details and see if it's something you guys are interested in.
I'd be interested to know where. I mean, there's some places I want to go specifically. I'd like to do a cruise on the Salmon River or something, maybe up by Yellowstone.
Well, that we don't have. Well, we have a cruise lines. We're contracted with Royal Caribbean, Princess, Carnival, every major cruise line. We're actually in contract. Like if you want to go to the Caribbean, Mexico, West Indies, that we have covered. But and Alaska too, but out of California from San Diego.
Do the cruises allow pets? Because I recently, we have a cat that like adopted us, and it's like very, very needy. And anywhere I go, I have to be able to bring a cat.
I don't see why you wouldn't be able to, especially if it's in a little cage. I couldn't answer that question, to be quite honest with you, because my job is to get you guys registered for these packages, and then you can call the customer care number. They can answer all those crazy questions because we're a full service travel agency, so they would be able to answer that. It's a little bit out of my wheelhouse, but I don't see why that would be an issue if it was in a cage, and if it was in your stateroom on the ship. I can't see why that would be a problem. I mean, I don't think it would. I wouldn't have not allowed to think. I wouldn't think that they would let you, keep it running around on the deck of the ship. But if it's in your cabin and it's in a cage,
I've never been able to get it in the box. Like if you have food, it will follow you. But I haven't been able to get it in the carrier, so I'll have to figure that part out. Because maybe if I wore gloves or things, because it's part like feral.
Oh, okay, yeah. Feral cats are difficult. I know. I have friends of mine that dealt with those a lot. They can be very difficult. They don't trust anything or anybody.
Yep.
Now, basically, you have a lot of package here. You have 5 days and 4 nights in hot spots like Orlando, Miami, Las Vegas, just to mention a few. You stay at our 4-star rated property, up to 4 travelers. We give you another 8-day, 7-night, 2-bedroom condo, 3,000 different locations to choose from, international and domestic. And those are also 4- and 5-star rated properties. And it's a condo, so it's not a Motel 6. You can choose Europe, Canada, South America, Central America, or the Caribbean. You got 3,000 locations to choose from. You're also able to get a 3, 4, or 7-night cruise option. You can choose your own port to sail out of. We're contracted with all the major cruise lines, and it's called a flex cruise, which means all the meals, entertainment are included on board the ship. And then we also have a 3-2 anywhere in the continental United States. This is our land, air, and car stay. This is 3 days, 2 nights anywhere in the continental United States. You can go to New York, you can go to Los Angeles.
I can't do planes. I could do like an Uber. There was an unfortunate incident where it was a mistake on my part, but I'm on the no-fly list because of something that happened regarding gunpowder. It wasn't like I'm not like a criminal or anything. I just made it on the no-fly list. And it's really hard to get off.
Shit, really? That's interesting. Wow. Basically, the good thing about this, though, Dwayne, is that all portions of this vacation package, you just get the 3-2. Right now, we're calling it our Friday, bonus trip. It's just something they threw out there. You can transfer this to anybody 25 years of age or older as a gift. So if you wanted to give the airline portion to somebody as a present, wedding present, graduation, whatever, you can do that.
I've actually my oldest kid, I'm trying to get him to move out. So maybe this would be like, I could present it as a gift, but really it's just like, was it one way or a round trip? Because I need him to sort of go.
It's round trip, unfortunately.
Can I only transfer half the ticket to him?
Yeah, that's something in customer care that they would handle, the travel agents themselves. But it is 100% transferable. Somebody will use those airline tickets, that's for sure. The whole package with all the 8-7, the 5-4, and the 3-2, plus the cruise for up to 7 days, everything comes to $798 for you, $798 for your wife, and third and fourth passenger, whoever they are, they can travel for free for bringing another couple or some teenage children. So it's a total of $798 per person, and the third and fourth guest travel free.
And could I do it twice? Because there's like our whole family. There's 8 of us. So if we were going to do like a full trip, we need all 8 people. There. Otherwise, I have to choose my favorite kids, and I could do that, but it would really leave some hurt feelings.
So what do you have? 6 kids?
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? Let me do something, Dwayne. I'm on one of the what they call assistant promotions directors in training. I'm relatively new. When I got out of the service, I've only been with this company a little while, but I have a promotions director who knows every question they can possibly answer. And here's the beautiful thing. You're coming up on my database for whatever reason as a preferred traveler. So they're going to roll out the red carpet for you and unlock a lot more benefits that I don't have access to.
The truth, truth about that,
yeah.
I was on the run previously. I've sorted everything out. My background's cleaned that way. But I was on the run, and I hopped all over the place, and I racked up the air miles. This was before I was on the no-fly list. So
it's possible that could be where your travel credits are coming from then.
Yeah. It's all sorted out now, so there's not a problem.
Oh, that's good to know. Wow, it sounds like you could write a book. To hell with the podcast, you could write a movie with Harrison Ford.
I'm thinking actually of starting a YouTube channel.
Oh, okay.
I'd call it Recovery Addict, and I'd take prank phone calls.
That's a pretty cool thing. I've always wanted to go on radio. I've always been a radio kind of guy.
You've got the voice for radio. It. You really do.
Yeah, I was going to have a show called Politically Incorrect on the radio and let people call in and talk about everything crazy going on.
I do the opposite. I do that. I'd say like pickles, not politics, would be my thing. Just because politics can get nuts.
Yeah. Well, down here we have a very large radio market, television market. South Florida is enormous. It's just grown like exponentially, and I could see that. And then people are constantly stuck in their cars now with traffic, especially in Miami. It's hours to get from point A to point B where the traffic is so bad. You got a captive audience.
Yeah. I think right now you've got about 1,340 people listening. Do check Recovery Addict. That's who I am. And you happened to call me while I was live on YouTube. I get these calls from Mr. Dwayne, who is not me, all the time. I feel bad because you are the nicest person that's ever called. Asking for Dwayne.
What's coming up on my computer is Dwayne, and then I got Bourne.
Dwayne Bourne. Yep. Dwayne Bourne had this phone number probably, 15 years ago. And I get calls for him every day since then. I don't know who has me on the database. Apparently he had a property that was in like Ogden, Utah at one time. And I'm in North Carolina, by the way.
he might have been a timeshare owner then.
Yeah. So honestly, I kid you not. If this gig does not work out for you, with your stories, with your voice, there's space for you on YouTube or podcast. And it works really well. I love it. I've done it for over a year. I've got about 50,000 subscribers right now. It's my full-time job.
That's really cool.
It does give me any time for travel.
Oh, okay. Listen, I thank you so much for all the information. I'm going to definitely look that up.
Yep. Well, thank you very much. And what was your name one more time?
My name is Charles.
Charles, you did a great job. I wish I could tell your boss that you're wonderful and you could get a raise, but obviously since I'm not buying, they won't listen to me very much.
No. They are good. They're good bosses. They really are, and they like me very much. I do. I come in and help people. I help people build dreams, dream vacations for future memories.
Yeah. You do know though that there never was a travel package purchased, right?
How this information gets to my database, who knows?
Yeah, so it is a bit of a scam. I mean, I use the word scam loosely. Really, there is travel on the end. If I were to pay it, I would get to travel. But really, it's just it's a hook to get you to pay, and I'm buying the whole thing. That's how it works.
Well, a lot of these companies are called third-party marketing companies. Our company's different. We don't push people into buying timeshare. Ours is related to travel club membership, discount membership.
Yeah.
So it's not timeshare related. We're not selling real estate like a lot of developers are using third-party marketing companies to give them a vacation and then sell them real estate. This is a travel club membership opportunity. It's a lot less pressure.
Yeah. Charles, I want you to have a happy Thanksgiving. And
You
I
too.
look forward to seeing you on the YouTube channel. You are live right now, so I'm not joking.
Okay,
Recovery Addict, that's where
wonderful.
we're at. I'd love to have you as a
I'll look it up.
subscriber.
I will definitely look it up. And does that by any chance show a picture of you or anything like that?
Yes, I'm live on full screen right now. If you were to open it up right now, you'd see me live. I live stream every single day.
Yeah, we're not allowed to mess around with these computers. These are like dialers
Yeah.
because you can infect them, so they don't allow us to use them to surf the web or anything like that. But I'll look it up on my own time. Recovery Addict.
Yes. It's awesome.
Okay, I will look it up. And your real name is, what do you go by?
My name is
what
Scott.
Are you called?
My name is Scott.
Scott.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not Dwayne.
So,
sorry.
Not Dwayne. Okay, Scott. I'll remember that if I stay in touch with you.
All right. Good luck to you. We'll see you.
All right. Thank you. Nice talking to you, Scott.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Bye. What in the world just happened? What in the world just happened? First of all, that guy is in the wrong career. He is in the wrong career. The way he's got a voice, yes, he's a very smooth talker. I don't know how much of what he said was true or wasn't, but he's a salesman, number one. So yes, he's sort of in the right career for that. He's a salesman. He was able to, whatever it was I talked about, he was able to go with and add value to the conversation. He was able to agree, even though I took like opposite positions just to see what would happen. And he went with it every single time. He was amazing. He was amazing. Just for the record, I've never been on the no-fly list. I was never on the run from the police. Some of the things I think up myself, and some of them I get from your chat as it's scrolling by. But my heart rate has been over 110. I was so excited about that call. I've got my little heart rate warning coming up on my watch. So a couple people out there is like, I need to hire Charles. I could hire him for what we need. Honestly, in the right company, that's not like running a quasi scam. This guy could sell used cars to a blind man. I mean, it's just he's really, really good at what he does. I almost went for it. Almost. All right, that was awesome. He was one guy. He didn't catch. I told him he was live. Emily would have screamed at what's this? Why would Emily would have screamed at him? You're talking Emily D. Baker? He's Navy intelligent. My husband's the same way. Such a good salesman. It sounds bad. I mean, he says he did 19 years. Who does 19 years? Who does 19 years and then gets out? That doesn't sound right. I thought it was one of us in chat was punk. Here's why I know it wasn't, Mary. He called in on my real number, not my burner phone. That's how I know it wasn't somebody punking me from chat. And all the scammers call my real number. They don't call my burner phone. It's called charisma. Wow, what a great way to leave off on. Emily from management. That's what we keep getting told off by Recovery Addict. Remember? Oh yes. He's probably going to get in trouble for that call if it's listened to. I've heard about the skunk apes before. I thought it was just like something else entirely, but Emily was a previous. I have zero recollection. I can never remember from one call to the next who the last one was. So today we had a pro se defendant, we had a pro se court case without a defendant. We had a police chase, and we had a scam caller as well as some court hopping. I don't know what else you could ask, honestly. What else could you ask for? That was awesome. Let's see. He's going to join us here, I have a feeling. Hopefully, it's going to be after work because he's still on the clock. He's calling people right now trying to talk them out of $1,800 for a 3-day trip around the United States by car. I was in the middle of my Thanksgiving appreciation speech. I'm grateful for people like Charles. Man, well, what fun that is. That's a lot of fun. We had the trifecta. We got all three. Do you believe he trained dolphins? I don't know. That seemed a bit far-fetched. I mean, it's one of those things that I've heard about. But first of all, having worked in very close proximity and with military members in the Air Force quite a bit, they are very much aware of how long they've served and what benefits they get if they serve for a certain period of time. People that do 19 years and then get out before 20, either there's more to the story or I'm not buying it. That's what I'll say. Yeah, there might be more. Crazy Cat Queen says, my husband got out after 14 years, just got tired of county bodies. 19 years, though, I'm guessing he got into quite a bit of trouble and negotiated a general discharge instead of a court-martial. That's what I'm saying. I'm thinking there's more behind that. Wow. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. For those that are cooking the turkey, just know that if you have not taken it out to thaw it already, it's too late. Don't try now. It's too late to thaw your turkey. That's my public service announcement for the day. And on that note, we're gonna wrap things up here. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for being part of this amazing community. Thanks for welcoming me in and welcoming everyone else in as this community has grown. It's been wonderful. I've learned a lot. I've made a lot of mistakes, and I probably will continue to make mistakes. And I appreciate your patience and grace and space you give me to learn as I make mistakes. If there's anybody out there who for some reason feels that I've done something wrong, it feels like the Festivus type thing, I'm going to try to make it right a little bit. So if you feel I've wronged you somehow or banned you inappropriately or something, reach out to me on the burner phone. You know, I'm in a good mood. Let's see if we can become friends again. Let's see. On that one, I'm going to comment to Charles on this video. Let's show him some love. Seriously, that would be great. On that note, let's see. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Gobble, gobble. Happy tryptophan coma to all of you after you eat turkey. Tonight, when you go home, please hug the people you love. Smile at someone, make their day just a little bit better, and please stay safe till we go live again, which will be Monday. I might put out a little message on tomorrow. It's not going to be a big live. It might not even be live. But I hope that this holiday season, either if you're not with the people you love, you can at least reflect on the wonderful memories you've had together. That's and then of course internet shopping. Stay safe on Black Friday. Oh my goodness, stay safe. There was one time I went out on Black Friday, and I stood in line at Walmart to get the iPad Mini, and I got the iPad Mini, but they messed up, and they ended up, because they weren't there, they had to ship them to me. They ended up shipping me 5 for the price of 1, and it took me almost 2 months to return them, and they wouldn't take them and told me then to keep them. So I got 5 iPad Minis for the price of 1. There you go. And corporate made me keep it. All right. Love y'all. See ya. Have a good one. Catch you later. Bye.
Bring the jury.